All right, we're here.
Oh,
Take it away, Eddie.
No, I said I'm not in charge, so that's not happening.
Okay. Hello. We are a couple of handsome dudes.
Wow, we're starting with lies.
Yeah. We are
You got pranked. This is a prank show.
a small portion of Midlevel Crisis. Doing something different tonight. We're missing two of our lovely castmates. But we're just gonna hang out. We're gonna try something different tonight. So I am calling this. Nobody else knows this, I think. But as of right now, I'm calling this.
What do you mean you think?
Team bonding.
Right? Yeah, I knew it.
Team bonding.
I looked ahead.
So we're gonna bond. We're gonna do some team bonding. We're gonna do some team building exercises.
Trust falls.
I'm gonna trust falls. We're gonna put up our OSHA posters.
I'm anxious.
OSHA.
We're gonna really dig our toes in the sand, as they say. But anyways, before we do anything at all, quick shout out to, the initiative order, session 0, of course.
Wow, they sure got good shirts, don't you think, Ryan?
No, their shirts are terrible, but their fall shirts are starting to look good. I'm excited about them. Keep your eyes open. And Band of Badgers always. So if you're interested, go check out Band of Badgers and the Initiative Order. They are two different groups. One is more Discord based, but they both build around their community and get a lot of active involvement in games, not just Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, but like Morkborg. There's a couple new ones out there.
Yeah, the Initiative Order was streaming yesterday too.
Yeah, they actually just finished a stream. They're doing a little bit of some Jasper's Game Day stuff, which is suicide awareness and prevention.
That's awesome.
They've been doing a lot of different people have been raising some money for that, which we should consider in the future. Is doing our part to help out a little bit too.
Definitely.
But. Yeah, the secret surprise is this is now a Limp Bizkit podcast. Welcome to the significant other, the other podcast, the significant other podcast. This is the other one. We're the other. Anyway, also, really quick before I forget, quick shout out to Dungeon Crate, because just got these in the mail.
Oh.
With my freaking
That doesn't look like Limp Bizkit. Okay, I took my headphones off.
freaking name is on it. Look at this.
Yeah, I read through it. It's really good. I liked it a lot.
There's artwork. I wrote all of this. How
That
neat is
doesn't
that?
look like you at all.
No.
Did a terrible job to getting your likeness.
All these little character sheets on all these pads. Man, I'm over the moon as
Some
they also
solid
say.
ASMR. That was some solid ASMR.
What was it?
Can you do that again?
Yeah, hang on. I did it backwards.
Oh,
I don't know.
that came out real sick. So
Yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah.
But what we're gonna do tonight, I think, as of right now, unless this turns into a disaster. What?
We didn't talk about the thing I did.
Limp Bizkit. We did talk about it.
I made this.
he wants to talk about his
Oh,
word again.
Dylan, tell
my
everyone
God.
about the thing you did.
Oh, it's D20.
Neat. All right. Well, what's Limp Bizkit? Everyone got your red caps?
I do. Shit.
Oh,
There's some-
that's where we can start. Dane, that's where we can start. Red caps. That's our jump off.
Okay.
All
I
right.
like that.
All right, we're off to a good start. Red caps. Limp Bizkit inspired one shot. Okay,
Dude, no, I don't know anything about it.
pull it up. You better pull up some lyrics.
Oh, no.
I can't wait to get to the hot dog room.
Okay, you show up at a
Weird.
tavern.
Why are
and
all the
there's a bunch
starfish
of
in the ocean
biscuits.
made out of chocolate?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Okay, so what we're gonna try to do tonight, hopefully, unless this turns into a complete and utter failure,
Man, if
which
it keeps going about Limp Bizkit, it will.
well, it'll only get better. Is we're gonna try to build a one shot. We're gonna try our best to do it together. Let me jump on over here to the Microsoft Word page that I got up here. There we go. No transition. That was cool. Thank you. Thank you for that. Streamlabs. That was neat. But we got a little layout here for our Microsoft Word. So we will start from the blank slate of a one-shot. If you guys want to, right now, really quick, go over some ideas that we might want to incorporate, some things that we want to make sure we get, like, you know, what is the villain, what is whatever, or do you want to start backwards, work forward, or want to start forward, work backwards? How would you guys go about preparing a quick one-shot session for your friends or family?
So Ryan, when you and I both DM pretty frequently, what's something like, how often would you say that you prepare one shots for groups or
Very
your
often.
own players? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I've been doing it a lot actually. Like now I'm thinking about it, because at work I've been playing a shit ton of D&D, for the kids. So I've been making one shots like all the time, and I had to like really like dig out of my butt. That's good sentence. I think dig out my butt for stuff. So I just realized like, oh wait, I've done this.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you guys look for when you're building a one shot?
So the first thing I do, I guess, is think of something funky. So like for example, like I'm not like pretty much just based on an idea. Like let's say if I'm thinking it for like the kids or whoever, like either I would think of boss and like some little fun thing that they do, or I would think of whatever the dungeon or whatever they're doing. I would think of like what kind of fun thing, like the main like fun thing that they'll do.
So you look for an
example,
activity rather than like a setting. So you're like,
yeah,
is there going to be a boss fight? Is there going to be a dungeon? Is there going to be a big bad of some sort?
yeah.
Or, okay.
Like usually it's like, for example, I would usually think for a one shot would be like, oh, this bad guy uses like music, like a bard, or like the one shot I ran for you, for Ryan and Jen and Anthony, like that one time. It was one of the first times I did it, and like the big bad in that one, like stole what was it, a paintbrush or something, a magic paintbrush, and like he would paint things into reality, or he would like.
Wasn't that
like
an episode of SpongeBob?
Yeah, it was Doodle Bob.
It
Yeah,
was
that-
Doodle Bob. Damn it!
That's
I
not
thought
right,
of
sir.
Doodle Bob.
I did it first 14 years later.
That is
Oh no.
intellectual property theft.
Okay, so Doodle Bob is the main bad. But yeah, something kooky like that. That's where I would start off with.
All right, so we're going with a kooky adventure here.
Something kooky.
I mean, not necessarily kooky, but that's just where my brain goes to.
Or like a interesting sort of encounter, right? Do you want it to be the villain in it, or do you want it to be like the quest giver?
The way I think Eddie's kind of describing it is like he builds it like it's an episode of a sitcom. You have 22 minutes to wrap everything up, so you have to have like a set problem or a set goal in mind. It's not going to be just like
Right.
you're in a tavern, what do you want to do? So like
Right.
establishing your reason for being there.
Right, and typically with one shots, you want to do your best to keep the players on track and make sure you know you're not supposed to railroad as a DM, but with a one shot adventure, it's usually meant to be railroaded just to get the point across.
Yeah.
Whenever I run one shots, it's usually to teach somebody new how to play, just to kind of get a little bit of strategy, get maybe a puzzle or two, a dilemma, and some combat, just so they can see pretty much everything.
Yeah, just unfold all the aspects. Something where
Yeah.
they're going to have to make an attack roll, a saving roll, some kind of like skill check.
Yeah.
So try to like check off all the boxes.
Yeah. Jen just said movies. That's a good one. Like a lot of the times, like I wrote an entire one shot based off of the first Harry Potter movie. Because like if you sit and you watch a movie and you just pretend those characters that are in it are role playing, like those are the characters that are being played, you can watch and you see there's conflict, there's a villain, usually there's some sort of dungeon happening, especially with the first Harry Potter movie. Like that whole thing is a dungeon crawl towards the end. Like
Well, even like the Loki series. I'm not going to say specifics about what happened, just in case anyone hasn't seen it. But the whole thing played out very much like a D&D session. Like there's a lot of like establishing characters and rules, and they had to go through all these different like trials in order to get to where they're going to go. Like again, I don't want to say too much. I don't know who's seen what, but it all felt very... yeah. So Dane, have you seen any of the shows yet?
No, I'm super behind on.
Then that's your own info at this point.
No, it super is. I feel like a lot of that stuff, like with like planning one shots, and I mean Ryan's gotten to play in a couple of the ones that I've planned, where like I keep a running OneNote document just for like random BS like D&D ideas from like any media that I consume. Like, you know, I just pulled up my Word doc or my notepad, and the last thing that I had written down was from some documentary on Jeffrey Dahmer that I was watching, and just like some themes in there about like, you know, missing people and like a shrine of skulls and like those kind of things, like certain like themes or like inspiration points that I think would be sick to hit on like in a one shot, and like getting to that point. There's been times where I've just thumbed through the monster manual or like Mordenkainen, I think more specifically, because there's like some really cool like demon-y kind of stuff in there, and find like something like, all right, this looks sick. How do I get a group of adventurers to fight that? And then just building something around it. So
I've always had the I don't know if it's a habit per se, but I know Ryan does kind of the same thing. We'll like flesh out the entirety of a world, find like different factions and political stances, continents and countries, and whenever I run a one shot, one of the things I try to do is flesh out a part of the world that they haven't been in yet. So like even like for example, when we did Dane, you weren't here for this, but when we did the Triton one shot, it was kind of like going over like the coral reef where Zephyrin was from. That's part of the world we hadn't quite seen yet. So I kind of use it mostly as a as like a geographical or historical tool to kind of like help the players get into the world more. So I haven't really done a lot of like standalone one shots like this. I know I ran one for some of you guys on Ryan's birthday this year, but even then I was using like Azeroth from World of Warcraft. Like I just kind of like borrow from different worlds. So something that's like standalone I haven't really done myself, because my last group just like, oh, you guys haven't been here, we're gonna run out of this kingdom. And like with you guys, like, oh, we're checking origin stories. So yeah, just doing something like brand new I've literally never done. So
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Actually, one of the last one shots that I did was actually one that I ran in like Ryan's world, like a completely unrelated thing. I think it was pre the adventure that we picked up on, right, Ryan? I think it was before everything happened. I'm
having a hard time remember, but I think it was like not. I don't remember. It was definitely before. I don't remember how far before, but it was interesting. Yeah, I think I still have the notes for it. May have been like 10 years sooner.
My scattered recollection of notes that I took.
That was something similar happened with my last group. Basically, one of my players wanted to run a one shot, and he did it 600 years before like my group had picked up. So I kind of got to give him some like history and some notes on like what happened in this particular realm of the world, and then I actually got to play in my own world, which is super cool for me. So it's yeah, very similar kind of aspect, just somebody else helping flesh out your ideas.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like what I like to have the players do in an ongoing campaign, as well as I like Dane, for example, created a monastery in the world where his last character was from, and we figured out where it was from and like who he would know and what sort of NPCs he would know along the way to meeting up with the party and stuff like that. So I like that when you have your character, if you create somewhere new that doesn't exist, you tell me what it is. Or if you say that you're from somewhere that does exist that I haven't developed yet, you tell me what's there. Like, I like that being your sort of thing. So when Dane ran that game in the town that's in my world, they hadn't been there yet. So I was like, whatever you want to do. Like, I have notes. So I actually have all the notes. I just looked. of all the stuff that he added to it, just so that way when they go there as players, it's still there, and it'll be like, oh, it's something that Dane created. It's it's his fingerprint. It helps with character buy-in and stuff like that, or player buy-in. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of that too, is because one of the things I appreciate about that is like the player involvement. Not only does it make it feel like the players are more involved in the thing you did, because I feel like as a DM, like it's got to be like the most like self-conscious thing you could do. You're just like, I sure hope my friends don't hate me after this, or hope they're enjoying themselves and not just like waiting for their turn to roll. So like having your players get that involved in the creation of your world, and not only is it like more fulfilling for you, but it's also like you can't possibly think of everything for the entirety of a world, you know? So having somebody else kind of like come in with like a completely different mindset helps it feel less like mundane, like, oh wow, this, like, yeah, they're have a different like city crest, but they run exactly the same as the last city state we were in. So
right, and
like somebody else.
Sorry, go ahead.
Somebody else's take is often like more refreshing, because like I've lived in Vancouver my whole life. Cities are going to look a lot like Vancouver in my worlds, you know. So having someone else's perspective on what a city would look like, would flush it out more.
And it's also cool to think like, let's just say I give you a city, Dylan, and you're like, oh, well, my city, it exists in your world, but in my head, it's a floating city. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's a floating city. How is it floating? Tell me everything about it. And then you can use that sort of concept of why it's floating and make that like elsewhere. Like, oh, this thing that is making it floating, like maybe there's like anti-gravity rocks that are actually in the world itself, and they have to like be mined from earth elementals or air elementals or whatever.
Yeah, XYZ pseudoscience and magic.
Yeah. And that exists elsewhere. So maybe there's a wizard or something who's doing the same thing because he wants to create a floating tower. Black Widow spoilers in advance. But
it wouldn't have been if you just didn't say Black Widow spoilers.
What?
Thanks.
No, it has nothing to do with Black Widow. I was trying to think of like Marvel, and I was like, oh, what's Black Widow's the most recent thing?
Trying to tell me that the Red Guardian's an air elemental? Is that what this is about?
Yeah,
Plot twist.
Speaking of, actually, really quick sidetrack. I guess one of the characters is actually a mutant. One of the people that Red Guardian knows and talks to in the movie. They quote, or they listed him as Ursa Major, which is a mutant in the X-Men comics. Pretty cool.
Interesting.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, like, but the thing, at the same note, just really quick before we get back, in the X-Men comics, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were mutants too, so I don't know if that necessarily is like that, like, unveiling of mutants, but...
I mean, it was still neat. I hope that they, like, keep that guy around to, like, show his actual powers of changing into a huge bear.
Yeah, after we're done with this, I have some things I want to say about Black Widow, so we'll get back to that later.
Anyway,
welcome
go
to
ahead.
the Limp Bizkit Black Widow crossover.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Limp Widow.
Limp Widow.
Limp
Nice.
Widow.
Good name.
Red cap, red room.
Oh, shit.
So, all
I
of
don't
this
think you guys appreciated that as much as I did.
all of this stuff has been like campaign stuff. We wanted to talk more about like smaller scope, smaller scale. Like, what would, if you're gonna sit down and you're gonna introduce Dungeons and Dragons to 5 new people that have never played it before, where do you start? Where do you put your pen to paper, your fingers to the keyboard, or whatever it is?
Well,
So-
I mean, I was just gonna say what I was gonna say. If it's the first time, like playing the game, it's kind of cliche and kind of dumb, but like having them meet up in a tavern and stuff, and like just going through a cave and fighting a dragon, it's pretty much what I would do for the very first time, so they get the feel of what D&D is.
I'd do the same. I was literally going to say the exact same thing. Like, I feel like you earn your stripes that way. Like, you start in a tavern, you fight a dragon, and somewhere in the middle there's a dungeon, you know, or a cavern of some kind. Like, maybe not a dragon, but some like an illithid, or just some very like D&D monster, you know, like.
Yeah. I don't know if for the purpose of this we should put that in, but like that answers that question.
But if it's for someone for their first time, like, you know, I do think there's a bit of a, like, everybody and their dogs has a disdain for starting in taverns, you know, like, but it's classic, you know, you got to kind of like understand the roots. So if it's your first time playing, like, throw them in a tavern.
Yeah.
You know, and at least that's what I think.
I agree with that. I think I try not to spend too much time on that, but like I agree that it helps kind of like really set the scene for like establishing like why your party's together, like getting your introductions out of the way, like establishing purpose for whatever the goal or like the overarching thing for the one shot is, or sometimes it's just like a small thing that leads into like a bigger like, oh no, we were retrieving ore that went missing and found a demon in a cave that needs to be taken care of, kind of a thing. Like whatever like their first like task is to like set that up so that way they can begin whatever that might be.
You know,
sometimes I skip that whole thing and put them right in the middle of it. Be like, depending on like how quickly, like how much stuff that I wanted to get them through, and like how much like, you know, wanted to skip some of that. But you're right. I think that does help, kind of, just like setting the scene and like building that initial rapport, and you know, a little bit of an icebreaker to get everyone kind of in the mood of it.
And also establishes NPCs right off the bat. Like, obviously, like there's always somebody in the bar, be it another patron or or the barkeep, tavern workers. So it initiates role play, which I feel is a really hard part for new players. Like, I'm trying to get my wife into D&D, and she's like, I'm not doing voices. I'm like, well, just tell me what you're going to do. She's like, I don't want to do that. So,
you know what's, I was just thinking just now, it's another, like, pretty decent one to start off with. Having everyone start off in a jail. That one I like a lot, too. Because
that one's fun. I've done that a couple times.
Yeah, it's like, because my brain went to, like, Skyrim and, like, the Elder Scrolls and all that. And they always start you off in a dungeon or, like, as a prisoner. And that's
or in a wagon.
Yeah, it's a pretty, well, I guess in a wagon, sure. Yeah. But yeah, it's always, like, a really good start, because now you have to figure out, okay, why is your character in prison? Or why is your character...
That's another thing. Like, if you've chosen your alignment beforehand and you're lawful good, you'd be like, oh, I was wrongly imprisoned. And if you're chaotic evil, you're going to lie to the lawful good guy. So that also initiates some kind of role play right off the bat, you know? Is Eddie getting talked to right now?
What?
I'm about to be. I'm about to knock on my door. So bring out those fucking bingo cards. God damn it.
Can we explain the concept of Eddie Bingo again? It's my favorite thing.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have my card ready.
I don't know.
Just throw one where the one shot.
So no, we got a.
Wearing pants, right?
That's in the I'm wearing pants. I just got short. Oh, I got shorts on. Look at my knees. That's Bucci, right? That's Billy's friend.
Yeah.
In the chat.
What's going on, man?
So
also, solid idea in chat, Bucci, for
that
Destiny Eris's Crotus team. Like, that's 100% that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the sickest shit. Like being able to take something and be like, let's take a look at this at a different perspective. And it's a very cool concept, especially with video game characters. Like, if you wanted to take, I don't know if Eddie or Dylan have ever played Destiny, but like
once or twice.
I did.
I know the game.
There's a character, an NPC named Eris Morn, and her adventuring party, they're called fire teams. So like being able to look at the background of what happened to her fire team is a very good example of like background information and world building and all that stuff. And it gets you more involved with the story at large as well, which is really sick.
And even in the game, like there is a lot of lore around that you kind of get bits and pieces of through like other missions and like other like lore books and stuff. But something like that situation to really like fill in like a lot of the gaps and like really kind of build like, you know, like how horrible of a situation that they walked into and why it's crazy that Eris was even able to get out of there. And, you know, just adding to the flavor and, you know, the world building piece of it.
Yeah, especially for such a haunted character as well.
Should we be like, Oh, sorry, Don. I was just asking a question really
Yeah,
quick.
go for it.
So in terms of what we're doing right now, should we put in the definitive thing like in the theme or setting, or should we just be like a list of it, or like almost like a guide to a one
I don't know. I wanted to either A, talk about it like we are right now, like I'm down with doing this, but B would be creating one. Like let's start like putting one together. So if we were to do a jump off, like what kind of setting or what kind of theme would you want? Do you want it to be like Game of Thronesy or like Lord of the Ringsy, or do you want it to be like alien or something, like something scientific or aquatic or whatever? Like it can be anything, and as long as you're able to put the characters into it and have it make sense and then come up with a story afterwards.
Something I was going to say, just kind of playing off of what Dane said last, is like talking about doing like, they were saying about doing something Destiny based. Is chances are your friend group, whomever that like you're playing D&D with, they probably have some kind of common interest. So basing it off of something like that, like Ryan, when we did that one shot for your birthday, it was Warcraft based because like I knew we both played Warcraft. So if we could just find something that like the four of us kind of have common interest in and kind of base it off of that, you know what I mean? Because like if I'm playing with a bunch of like friends and I know they all like Final Fantasy, I was like, cool, I'm gonna base this off of like FF7 or FF10 or critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy 14 with the award-winning Heavensward expansion free up to level 60 or something like that, you know?
That was very specific.
Was it?
A little.
Yeah. It's a meme. But yeah, like if I have friends that like one thing, or like if I knew they're all a bunch of Potter heads, is that the stand name?
Potterheads?
Is that the term?
Dude,
that's
their actual name. That's a choice.
I've run.
Maybe.
Ryan, can you ask Jen what the term is?
I think it's pottery guys.
Potheads?
Pottery guys?
Potheads?
Pottery workers, yeah.
Pottery workers. It's just in from the pottery barn.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so like if we find like I think finding a common
interest. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good jump up.
Well, we all like D&D, so there's that.
Yeah, let's base
Well,
it.
yeah, I mean that's it's getting stupid.
So I'm not into anime, so sorry Eddie, you're out.
I'm not into anime
well,
either.
I'm out of here. Bye, everybody.
I'm not into anime, Harry Potter, or Limp Bizkit. So
Well, I guess we're done here.
But I'm very knowledgeable about.
All right, how
Harry
about this?
Potter.
Here, check this out. Let's do the movie thing. How about Jurassic Park? Now,
well,
a Jurassic Park one shot could be sick, but then when we get to like the creatures part, it's gonna limit us to basically just dinosaurs or some scumbag who's like, oh, I'm gonna steal these and bring them home to my kids, and then we get Jurassic Park 2.
I do like the idea of like some overarching thing that we super can't do anything about, that we have to navigate. Like I'm basically talking about a Tarrasque. Like we're stuck on this island. There's a Tarrasque roaming around that we're not going to be able to make a dent in, whatever. And we basically have to find a way off the island.
That actually sounds pretty sick.
Okay.
I actually like that.
So Lost Island.
All right. So we got Lost Island. All right. The island of Chult. No.
Yeah, Jen just said it took her 2 years before she was willing to do voices, and I feel like that's probably the biggest hurdle for most players, is they won't want to be like. It's hard for them to like engage in their characters and really like commit to something like that. Like, it's awkward, like you're just like with your homies, and I was like, I'm gonna pretend to be English the next 3 hours because that's what I associate elves with for whatever reason.
I can do it as NPCs. I can't do it, or I can do it as PCs. I can't do it as NPCs.
I think it's the opposite. I can only do voices with NPCs. I can't do it as PC. Like, it's so much harder for me to do a PC because you got to stay the consistent voice. With NPCs, you got to swap around the voices, and that's more fun to do.
Oh man! Until Ryan makes Pen, Soup, Bones, and Info all talk to each other.
Yeah, that's sick.
I was going crazy.
All right, so we have our island. We are marooned on an island. You have all your party members. Maybe like the start of it. Like here, we'll do. Intro is they wake up basically like Lost style, like they wake up after like a plane crash or something, or like their shipwreck or whatever.
Yeah, that works. That way it cuts a lot of like the other, like the awkward kind of setup stuff. Like, hey, like, you know, I mean, I know it's kind of a cheesy thing to rely on like the trope of like a memory wipe or something, but you know, that's
Yeah.
one way to kind of cut out like some of the awkward setup-y kind of stuff and be like, hey, like, you know, to the best of your knowledge, you don't know how you got here, but like you know who you are and you know like where you were from originally, but
Or
now
even
you're on this rough paradise and you hear something in the distance that sounds terrifying.
yeah, or even like without like doing the whole like maybe they were intending on going to the island, but so there's something nefarious or problematic happened along the way that caused them to crash. And that also eliminates the like the reason for NPCs or for them being together. Like, oh, you're the only survivors from the crash. That's why you're all together. So
Yeah.
it eliminates the whole like awkwardness of like why are these strangers all of a sudden like life partners, you know?
Right. Now with the with the big like monster like going chasing after them, would that be introduced like right away, or would that be like, oh, you guys are gonna try to survive on this beach for like a hot second, and then out of nowhere, like this thing is like you hear in the distance, or like or shows up or whatever.
Yeah, I like the idea of hearing something from like the beach, like as they're waking up and trying like you could go through the rounds like, okay, the first one to wake up. I mean, I actually did that for the one shot that I ran for you, Eddie, when I first ran that game. Like you guys woke up in the town and you were the only ones there.
Yes, I remember.
And
that.
you had to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
And we're still playing that game, same exact game today, 2.5 years later.
Yeah.
But like, I like the idea of you start, you give them the narrative introduction of like you were on a ship heading to this island or whatever, and the last thing you remember was you saw a storm or whatever. You saw you felt a violent shake in the ship. It woke you up from your slumber, and then the next thing you know, you're waking up, and go between each character. Like, okay, Eddie, you're the first one awake. You look around, you see that there's 4 other people that are on the beach itself, and it looks like. And then you could even like have them roll a perception check or something, or use their passive and be like, it looks like they were dragged up on shore. So that means maybe somebody's there that found them and pulled them up away from the ocean. So that also gives them like the intrigue of like, okay, who dragged us up? And then as they're interacting and being like, do you guys remember anything? Do you remember anything? Maybe give one of the players something they do remember, like maybe they didn't get knocked unconscious. Give them a little bit more, and then that way they can kind of give the party like some sort of frame of reference. And then all of a sudden, in the distance, you hear like this terrifying guttural roar coming from the forest or whatever, and it like shakes the ground because of how large it is or something like that.
Yeah, or like stomping, like feeling like it's coming ever closer. Blah 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 blah. There's too many blah blahs.
Okay, so what are you writing right now?
So I got the theme.
Yeah, just some
Let's
more
do this.
talk about like Destiny in the chat there. Doesn't even have to be Destiny, D&D, Dragon, or Troll to be the big bad, but using the formula, one shot where their characters die, can liberate them instead of playing very conservatively, not taking chances for fear of something going wrong. This is making me kind of want to play Destiny more. Like I played it one time, and that's it. Maybe twice when it first came out, and somebody was just like, don't worry, it's kind of like an RPG, there's raids and levels and stuff, so I gave it a shot. But I'm not too into like sci-fi and guns and stuff like that, but if the story's good enough, I might give it a go.
I'm trying to think. So you wake up, you look around, other people are there, I guess, and that would be the moment when you guys introduce like each other or whatever, and then you hear the roaring in the distance.
Yep.
And then what do then?
So something Ryan and I talk a lot about our worlds is like nothing pauses just because you didn't make the right choice. Like if you take a day or two longer to get something together, like going back to like some town. Like days and nights have still passed. So I think at this point it comes to like what the options are for the players, right? Because if they go one way, like if they're walking towards like the rumbling, they're gonna face the big bad way too early. Like you gotta kind of find a way for them to properly iterate what they can do if their ideal scenario is surviving rather than just immediately fighting. So
when you go into a WoW zone way too early.
yeah. So maybe like when they wake up, it's nighttime, and or so it's nighttime, and maybe they see like farther down the beach, like several hundred feet, they see some sort of like campfire, or it's daytime and they see the smoke of fire through the woods in the other direction of where the creature's roar came from. Or if they have like a high perception or they want to look around, maybe they see the footprints of the person that dragged them up onto the shore more.
Who was the one that dragged them to the shore?
I don't know. You tell me.
If that's the narrative that's been pitched, the very first thing I know I would want to do as a player is find that out. I don't know that without some kind of pre-existing narrative that I would just want to wander towards where other locals are if I don't know the hostility level of said locals. So I think that would be kind of the push needed in order to go towards the fire. But yeah, definitely finding some other options as well. So like nothing's coming to mind, but another sound or another perception check, be it footprints heading into a different direction, or like a visible like clearing or road nearby going through the forest.
I think that like some other ideas that I had that might be able to at least like initially push the party could be like, you know, you don't know how long necessarily you've been here, but one thing you do know is you're starving and you need something to eat like now.
I like that a lot.
To like force them to go like into the jungle or like find like use whatever weapons they've washed up with to like find some amount of wildlife. And even finding like odd wildlife could be like, wow, like I wouldn't expect something like this to be here. Or even, you know, something else that could kind of push them that way would be like, you know, you wake up and, you know, there's some crazy looking storm headed your way and you need to find like get out of like, you know, the open area like soon because it's like crazy looking lightning and like you're in the middle of nowhere. So
yeah,
like
right.
seeking some form of shelter quickly, which could force them into other encounters of wildlife similarly to like looking for food or into an indigenous tribe that, you know, might know about whatever large like fucking kaiju Tarrasque bullshit is there.
Right. Yeah. Or like even a cave, and maybe inside the cave there's like a two-headed bear or something.
Right. Or like cave drawings that allude to like what this creature is possibly.
Yeah. I
like that.
I like that a lot. All right, so let's do this. Let's start to narrow some of this stuff down because we are creating a one shot. So let's narrow it down. So we got the island. Now they're waking up on the island, right? Was it a crash?
I do like the idea of the crash. It kind of adds this sense of like camaraderie, like they're survivors. They have like common ground at this point, so it initiates that like group mentality, I think.
Is it, now here's the other thing, is it a futuristic sort of fantasy setting where they have flying ships? Is it a flying ship? Is it a plane? Is it a ship?
I would imagine it being a normal ship, just because if you're playing D&D and it's your first time, it would make more sense to be generic fantasy. So I would say just a normal ship, and it just like some kind of tsunami just knocked it down.
It's also open for like DM interpretation. Like I know personally, like growing up with Final Fantasy, like I have like the incorporation of airships in a fantasy setting. Like is always like something that I deem possible in any world. Even though I don't even know what the science would be. I don't know, dwarven technology or something. But
like that, or like we were talking about elementals before too. Like I think some pseudo form of like magic and science together. Like I think it's easy enough to like put something like that, because even isn't it in Storm King's Thunder where they have like a floating city?
Oh,
Like that kind of stuff is like,
yeah, I think so.
you know, feasible enough.
Change my view here.
I'm obsessed with this dye. It smells so good. I can't get over it. Cedar. Which I don't know if I should be inhaling it because cedar dust is a carcinogen.
Alright, so the intro is you wake up in the sand after a shipwreck dragged up from the water. A large creature roars in the distance and you feel slight tremors when it stomps. That is the conflict. What is the creature? What is the conflict? Is it actually a terrestrial?
Isn't the conflict more like, or at least the main goal probably would just be like getting off the island?
Yeah. We sure can add that.
Well then, would be killing the thing that is making the roar be at priority, or would it just be like the thing that's on the island is the, like trying to chase after you and just give you more motivation to leave the island already?
So it basically becomes a survival thing, not really the fact that the final boss is the kaiju. It's just survival at this point.
I don't know. Like,
I think establishing a purpose for why they went to the island is important. Like, if we are sticking with the Jurassic Park setting, were they going there to see these creatures?
I'm now thinking King Kong. I'm thinking Kong Skull Island now.
Man, you guys have seen more movies than me. Can you put it in Marvel terms for me? I know Marvel terms.
Big apes strong together.
It's
So that's not Marvel.
it's like Thor. Thor's trying to get back to Asgard.
Okay, I guess loosely I agree with that. Okay, but I just watched Thor 1 again. Man, the eyebrows. I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, every close-up, you just see like the atrocious bleach job. So like establishing a purpose for them being on the island, because if they were coming to see these creatures and they broke out, like the Jurassic Park theme, or if maybe there's like a city they want to get to and they're on like an off path. Like,
you mean Titanic? Except no one really, you know.
But like if they're like, oh, we're gonna go see like the noble empire of Lond and it'll be great, but then the crash let them off course and now they're in like these uncharted territories. Do they still want to get to their destination? Is that the goal, or is it just?
I think that I like that a lot. Where that this might not have been their, like that this wasn't their initial destination, and now we have to figure out to get where we were actually trying to go.
Yeah.
Because that could be part of it too. Because if it is like kind of a shipwreck, but when they wake up, like their ship just is nowhere. So like, is it at the bottom of the ocean? Is it just on the other side of shore that they were just dragged away from? That maybe the indigenous are like trying to use for something else.
Yeah.
Because maybe they don't want to be on that island either, with the Tarrasque roaming around.
Yeah. So definitely, yeah, I think establishing some kind of purpose would also like elaborate more from just like, hey, we're trying to survive, and it's like it's been like 2 hours and we're not dead yet. Did we win? Like, there is no winning.
You solved your stranded puzzle.
Yeah. And also, like, I wouldn't trust the buoyancy of a raft made by 6 strangers. You know, like. Yeah. If maybe it's not that they're on an island, they're just they're where they're supposed to be. Like they wanted to go to like whatever, Canada. They landed in Canada, just like a bad part of it where there's Tarrasque roaming around, as there are moose. I guess maybe would be more of a. And they just want to get to Vancouver, but there's all these moose on the shore stopping them from doing so.
So Bucci just said they are sent or dropped off on the island, and reinforcements won't arrive for 10 days. That's how they get more people to arrive, but they won't last that long.
I kind of like that because that leans more to the survival aspect of it, where, you know, that also kind of reminds of like early like StarCraft maps too, where it's like the end is just surviving this for 20 minutes or whatever length of time, where there's like some very wild odds that you have to try to survive, whether it's harsh weather, whether it's like finding food, whether it's the Tarask.
Yeah.
So, if they're sent there, then are they still get sent by ship?
I assume so.
So what is the
Probably.
purpose of them getting sent there? Like, I still want to know, like, what the reason for going
So,
there was.
well, you haven't seen King Kong, but the Skull Island one was they were going for two reasons. One reason was they wanted to find the Hollow Earth theory, where they had to go and they tested out the whole, like, the vibrations of the Earth when they set off explosives. But they were also trying to track down this mythical creature that has only been spoken about in lore, and somebody else on the crew had been there before and had seen this thing. So, like, maybe there is an NPC that has been there before and is bringing them now. So, like, we really could do the Skull Island, the approach where, like, there is a storm around the island itself, and they have to get through the storm to get to the island. So maybe not everybody made it through the storm. Maybe this one crew made it through. And maybe they had an NPC that was with them before that told them, like, hey, there's something on this island or whatever, and we need to figure it out, but we're gonna be the first wave. We have to wait for more reinforcements to come, and hopefully they can get through the storm as well.
I like that.
But then,
I think that provides a lot better structure.
Yeah.
Than what we had. Yeah, I like that.
So are they still waking up on the island, or are they, like, the only ship? Like, once they start on the ship, just finally getting through the storm, and they see a giant ocean, and they just see, like, the ring of the storm around them, like hurricanes and stuff around the island.
I mean, if you started off where it's like they're going through the storm and stuff, it's like, oh, roll this to see if you can, like, control the sails or whatever properly, or like, so you can do it like that, or you can just do, like, you skip it and that's when they first get there.
Okay.
I don't know what is better, because
I think, like, just the narrative of, like, oh, you're pulling up to the island gives a lot more, like, lay of the land, and kind of prepares your characters for what's to come on the island, because you get quite the expanse view of the land as you're pulling up on the boat or the ship. So that could also be incorporated into your little, like, DM pre-speech. So I do like the idea of, like trying to control the sails and all, but I think it's a kind of a better opportunity to, like, just start off on the island, you know?
Well,
I agree.
You could do both, kind of. You could start the narrative and be like, okay, like, hit them hard with it. Like even if they're the first timers, you can just be like, kind of set the scene by having it be, like, really kind of dark and intense, by being like, you're on a ship, and thunder and rain and lightning flashes all around you, and the boat just tips and rocks, and you see all these deckhands running around, like frantically trying to keep the boat sturdy, and then you can kind of, like, bounce between each person who's helping a task on the ship by being like, roll for this, but, like, no matter what they roll, they're still going to be helping the NPCs, so they're still going to it's still going to work, but at least it helps get them to roll something, like roll a what the hell is it, vehicle whatever check, vehicle handling.
I think kind of making it like an implicated success takes away a bit of the dynamic of the roll, because if they do get, like, a crit fail but they succeed anyways, like, for a new player that might
they would
the wrong message.
They would fail. So, like, let's say they roll a 1, right, and they're going over to help steady the mast or whatever. Maybe something rolls, like a barrel rolls off, and it knocks them down, and they get trampled by this barrel. But one of the NPCs luckily is nearby and runs over to grab onto the mast and correct it himself. Like, the ship is still going to succeed. The NPCs that are there aren't going to survive one way or another. Like, you can control that sort of narrative, but they'll still be able to fail, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like let's say like if you set like 4 tasks, like if it's like a party of 4, like each one of them is involved in a task that could make their first like initial set of stuff to do on the island a little bit easier to do, or it could make it really hard to do. Like one of the people could be trying to secure like the barrels of food that are potentially like rolling around the deck, and if they succeed on it, then it could mean that when your ship lands that food's something you don't have to worry about, and you have to focus on something else when you get there. Or if they botch it, it's like that's one of the things that you have to check off early now is now we need food. Or if it's like let's say it's the captain is like about to be thrown off like from the helm or whatever, and your job is to try to like stop him from falling off, then it's like, all right, well, you get there, but when your ship is ready to leave, like you don't have a captain anymore, and someone else is going to have to try to steer this thing out of there. Yeah. Or like that, like something like that, where it's like that their ship is going to get there barely through the storm, but how prepared they are when they get there is determined by how well the party rolls in like that first like kind of encounter.
It could also, like, I don't know how much more work this would be. You can kind of create like a rolling table based off of like how well each person did. Depends on what damage is done to the ship upon arriving at the island. So right. Like if everybody did really well, and then the ship said, oh yeah, like this XYZ thing happened. But if everybody fails, it's Jesus. Cat.
Yeah, like that makes sense. So like it provides another layer of like how much tension there really is like right out the gate, where like if it's a bunch of botched rolls, it's like, yeah, well, like now we're stuck here and we don't have a ship to get out. Like now it's like we're very much fighting uphill. Whereas if they succeed, it's like, yeah, like we're still stuck here, but at least it's like some of the initial pressure's off. And because that's obviously going to affect some of the early decisions that it's going to affect the early decisions that they make about what they might want to do.
Yeah.
Plus, it gets them rolling dice early, and it has like actual like weighted consequences too. So some of that stuff's always cool to have included.
Cat just came in through my window, so I got to deal with that. I'll be right back.
Cool. So we got the theme. We have the intro, I believe. So I got you're going to the island for research. The island is surrounded by a circle of storms you must navigate. Only the players survive. Reinforcements coming in several days. Yeah. Any of that changing? Any of that need refreshing? I'm thinking we'll just take like basic notes right now, and once we get through it, we can actually like figure some of this stuff out. We also don't have to like write the entire script of this whole thing, but as long as we have the basis and plot points, I think
just
could be
to get
cool.
like a skeleton together.
Yeah.
Oh, spooky.
Do we need to like clarify like which kind of checks are we doing for the part in the ship?
I don't think we need to get that like nitty gritty with it right now.
Yeah, okay. we can get to that. We'll get to that point, but right now, as long as we get like a basis of what the structure of the entire one shot is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Definitely, I'm intrigued by this. I'd love someone here to run this, and maybe we could even play it with some of the people watching. If Jen wants to come in and do it sometime, or if anybody else is interested, it'd be a lot of fun.
We'll discuss.
That means no.
That means your idea is stupid.
Shut up. I don't even know why you're here.
Anyways, so I have research in quotes. What is the research? What are they going to the island for?
Well, do they know what the thing in the distance is, and they're trying to research on that thing, or is it like something on the island?
So that would be something that either we can say they do know or they don't know. Like we can write that in.
I think it's better that they don't know because it builds up more tension.
Have any of you guys seen the Skull Island King Kong?
I've not. No.
I've seen the King Kong with Jack Black.
No, not that one.
In the 1770s.
Well, I mean, I guess really all of the King Kongs kind of follow the same script. Like one person knows what's on the island, but won't tell anybody else until it's too late.
So I like the idea of it being like like legend, like, oh, they always said that there was this thing here, like it would be something that they had heard about, like a boogeyman or King Kong, you know, like just something that they didn't expect to actually be real. So I do really like the idea of them kind of knowing, but being caught off guard in the fact that like they didn't believe it, or so, or maybe to some extent the different players had different ideas on the level of conspiracy that was behind the lore.
I like the idea of them finding cave drawings a lot. I feel like finding the cave drawings will show them exactly what that sound is, and you don't really need to tell them what anything else other than that. And maybe like the secret of what is on the island went down with whoever knew it. Maybe they didn't get through, or maybe they did, but it was like a magical storm, so they ended up on a different part of the island. So maybe they find another surviving ship later.
Maybe.
I mean, no.
Well, no. I'm just trying to think if. I'm just still stuck on trying to figure out like why they, like what the reason.
So I think at least majority has ruled that we don't want them to know about the creature. So they're not there specifically for the creature. Is that correct?
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah. So, what is, we could come up with some magical reason for the creature being as be it aggressive or large or whatever it is, like for it being as much of a threat as it is. So something like to do with elementals, or it seems like an easy kind of cop out almost, but they're going there for some kind of research based off of something in a cave, or like a crystal, or like a mining venture. Like they
maybe some kind of MacGuffin. Yeah,
they can only get this like one particular ore in this type of the world, like vibranium with Wakandans, you know, like they're trying to retrieve something.
My brain went to like Indiana Jones. It was like, oh, there's like a lost artifact, and we gotta go get this lost artifact.
Yeah, something specific, but like also kind of fantastical, that adds this like sense of like fantasy or wonderment.
Yeah, like you're saying, like you're Indiana Jones, like we're looking for the Holy Grail almost.
Right? Yeah,
like we're there for a reason, and then while we're there, like I mean, even for the as far as the reason why the Tarrasque is like awake and roaming around, like it could just be something simple as like, you know, like in Jeepers Creepers, like the antagonist is awake like once every like, what is it, like 20 years or whatever, like weird
years,
like harvest cycle, yeah, like however, like a timing thing of like, well, we just the worst time to be here now because now this thing's awake and roaming around. So
I think I'm thinking about it.
It's 27 years, yeah.
It is, yeah, but it's a similar thing where it's like once every like X period of time.
Sorry, Ryan, you're gonna say something.
I like that Booch is like helping out in the chat. Like if anyone else is watching and they want to like give some ideas, like 100% please. But Booch just said when they're getting through the storm, if they're able to succeed in tying down a certain crate, maybe that crate has something in it. Like you can reward them for that. I also like the idea.
Full of gunpowder. Let's go.
Well, like I like that concept of like maybe as you're like narrating the storm part, right? They're navigating it. You're having them roll certain things. Also, somebody is like desperately like clinging to life on this one crate and is like trying to tie it down. Like make it very obvious that this one crate has to stay latched to the ship or something. And that NPC gets like wiped off by the ship by a tidal wave that crashes into the side of it. But if the players go over and try to help him tie that down, maybe inside is like journals and stuff about this creature, like something about whatever it is. But if they don't succeed in helping, then they would find out later in like the cave drawings or whatever, like what it is. Like either sooner or later, but one way or another, they're gonna get that same information.
One thing, since we're talking about like, oh, the Holy Grail is on this island, like not actually Holy Grail, but just there's some physical object that they're going to locate, retrieve, or research on the island. Maybe this creature is like the protector of this, you know, like maybe the whole reason it's here is because it needs its sole purpose on this plane is to stop other people from getting the Grail, so to speak.
Okay.
Even with that, I also really like, you know, that Indiana Jones style of just like traps and like things to try to like navigate in more like classic dungeon crawling kind of things, where it's like it gives an opportunity to like really experiment with that kind of stuff of like, all right, now we're underground at least and we're looking for this thing, like getting the party to like kind of think outside the box and like not get as ingrained into like what from like a D&D perspective, like what can my character do or what are my abilities, but like just general problem solving of like, you know, like we're walking through like what are we looking for, how do we try to like, you know, that kind of stuff.
And especially like with the whole new players perspective that we're kind of basing this off of, like incorporating things like traps is something that they're going to need to be knowledgeable about when they start to play, if they start to play more regularly. So incorporating those is definitely a good idea. But from a lore perspective, something I kind of like is maybe the people who are trying to protect this like Holy Grail, they put all these traps in place, but it wasn't enough to deter people from the allure of the Grail. So people were still attempting it, and even though no one had yet been successful, they were worried that someone might be, which is why they created this beast in order to protect the island.
All right, so I think what's important to make concrete is what is the creature? We keep saying Tarask, but is it a Tarask or is it something else? Because I think if we can solidify a creature, we might be able to play off of its stats and what it does.
Well, I do personally like the idea of it being something like a monstrosity kind of like created or forged or summoned, something that was like put here for the sole purpose of protecting this item. So I don't know how anybody else feels about that, or if there's another alternative. I'm definitely down to hear other options.
I wouldn't want to be a Tarask because it would be in my head. Because what if your players are like, let's fight this thing, and they don't know what the hell they're dealing with? It's like,
they're dead.
Oh no, they're dead.
Or we just scrap everything we just talked about. We do make it a Tarask, and then we call it Jurassic Park. And then
that's really the missed opportunity here.
Yeah, this whole time that was dangling in front of us.
Fuck. That's dang it.
So,
I mean, I'm fine either way. I mean, that was as like one of the first ideas. I just thought it was kind of funny to be like, oh, now we should have to like avoid that thing. And you know, even to your point, Eddie, like, you know, I think even just I like how you describe a creature like that, you can usually get the point across like you shouldn't fight this thing, because it's like if you're a person against like a Godzilla or like any normal like kaiju type of thing, like it's like, you know, this thing is like bigger than buildings and you're a person, like like unless like there is like a weird way to like magnify your person or shrink that thing down, then which could also be something introduced later and like make it fight into something else.
So like, Attack on Titan shit, just fly
Hell yeah,
or some like Gundam kind of stuff.
So
hell yeah.
Oh.
Speaking my language.
I
went to D&D Beyond and I just searched for gargantuan creatures. There's a gargantuan elemental, a rock elemental.
For it.
Okay.
Like that.
It's called Ogre Mock.
Ooh.
So that's one. We also got like the Kraken. We got a dragon turtle is gargantuan, bigger than a ship.
So I guess we have to establish as well, like, while we're looking for a creature, is this something we're expecting the players in a one-shot to fight?
I would say it would be something that it should be possible to do, but very encouraged to not do.
So, that being said, like, we should look at, like, is it going to be like they're going to start at level 3? Are they going to start at level 5? Are they going to start at level 1? Are they, like, what's the CR rating of these creatures?
I think generally, like, level 5 is usually, like, a pretty safe bet, because at that point, most classes already have, like, whatever their, like, subclass, or, like, their, like, class specialization really is.
Yeah, at that point you have your archetype.
Right.
So, plus, like, the possibility to multi-class, and yeah, like, you have a fleshed out character at level 5, like.
Right, like you're not a group of nobodies coming in to do this. Like you're like seasoned in some way. Like it gives the option for like ASI or feats at that point if you're not like running variants. So like you can really get pretty custom with what you want to bring into this.
So I just sent a link for a creature from the Critical Role universe called a Udak.
Oh, that's cool.
Udak. It's essentially our King Kong creature. It's a 4-armed gorilla. It's gargantuan. And it's from the Abyss.
Okay. Wait, does this thing has stats or whatever?
Yeah, it does on D&D Beyond, but every time I tried to send one earlier to Dane, it wasn't going through.
Gotcha.
So I'll send it here anyways and see if you can click on it.
The only creature I saw that was a CR5 gargantuan was a Brontosaurus, but this Udak, I see it. It's CR 16.
So also like Bucci just get another Destiny example where like in Destiny, like when you're fighting a boss, there's different strategies you have to do. Same with World of Warcraft, Dylan, where like you have to stand in a blight to do damage. Well, maybe like in D&D terms, maybe that blight is also doing damage to you, but you're doing like critical damage to the creature.
Yeah. So what's the term for that? The scripted boss fights, you have to just kind of, I guess, just learn the fight. So it's that at the beginning, like, oh, it's going to do this, stay in its circle, or like get out of the fire, X, Y, Z kind of. I mean,
we could do, is like a big creature shows up at some point. And it's not the main creature, and it's just like the players are kind of like fighting it. And they're like, oh yeah, this is not that big a deal or whatever. And then the fucking big bad like creature comes in and bashes it in like no problem. It's like, oh shit, we got to kill him.
Or like that scene in the first Jurassic World when like the T-Rex comes in and like fights the I don't remember what it was, but there's some other crazy dinosaur terrorizing the resort, and then the old lady T-Rex comes in and saves the day.
Yeah.
I don't know if she saved the day. Like, that was a weird...
Well, T-Rex is always the hero of those stories.
I don't understand why. I don't get anything that's going on with those stories.
Whatever. But
they had big dinosaurs, so you could take like $14 or whatever it costs to see it.
So
in my head, the big, like having like a smaller level creature come up, and then just the actual big creature, like that, like little twist, I think is actually kind of sick.
There's always a bigger fish.
Yes, I think that's actually really. I'm super into that idea.
But
I might be the only one on my boat here.
I just kind of wait. We kind of put a lot on the table, just kind of see what we're going to pick up before we kind of move on with it. So, still looking more for like a purpose. Like, I was kind of looking more towards like what the item is that they're trying to retrieve. Something like Holy Grail-esque, some kind of like artifact.
So now here's the thing: was the artifact? Because what I was thinking was the artifact was like what was the term MacGuffin? I don't remember what you said earlier.
Yeah, that's
where like that's not really the goal. Like that's what they were told they're looking for, but really that's not at all.
So I think what we were just trying to say is like it seems like an almost obvious trope, but at least that's kind of what I was getting. But we put it there as like, oh, you're going to go get this thing, but as they're searching for that thing, they find the cave drawings, and their interest is piqued by this creature, you know.
Okay.
And then that's when they face all the traps and stuff like that. I don't know what Eddie was necessarily meaning, but that's kind of where my head was at.
I also really like the idea, excuse me, kind of playing off the idea of those traps that we find as we're looking for whatever this artifact is, that those traps might not necessarily be there to keep us out, but it's more to keep whatever this creature is in.
Ooh.
Interesting. Okay.
So I was gonna let me give you a little more. Let me give you a little bit more King Kong lore. So
okay.
I feel like we're really leaning into this.
Is really just King Kong.
I mean, like really, you guys have no idea. Like the more you guys come up with, you say a sentence, It's like this is the King Kong. It's Skull Island. Like
Did
this.
we write King Kong?
That's what we're doing right now. It's basically what we're doing. So King Kong is never the bad guy. Ever. He's never ever the bad guy. He's protecting the indigenous tribes that live on the island with him. And what he's protecting them from is the creatures that live below the surface that come out at night. So they are a walled community, like a gated community, basically. And they usually don't talk. And I think they like speak in like sign language, or they like have motions or whatever that they speak with. But there's creatures that live below the surface. And there's these giant holes in the ground that they come up out of, basically, like... I can't remember what they're called, but he is essentially protecting them from all these other things. There's giant, huge, like 50-foot spiders, and all sorts of like insects and other sort of creatures that live on this island with Kong, and he keeps them safe. So if the thing that they're looking for is in the community, maybe this roaring thing isn't actually the bad guy. Maybe it's the protector of the island, and the players being there makes them sort of the bad guy because they're there looking for a specific thing.
If you think about it, the villagers were the real monsters.
Right. So
well, even at that subject, like with like an indigenous tribe being there, that you might come into conflict with this, where it's like I think putting a language barrier in there kind of helps us out, where it's like you don't understand why they're so mad that you're looking for this thing, you're looking for this cave, but you know their big thing is like, no, don't go in there because like you're gonna let out something that's real bad. Right. It's like, no, we need to find this thing.
It's basically like Moana, like when he goes and steals the heart of Tahiti and makes the floral goddess into a lava monster that is now corrupting all the ocean around it. So like maybe they go in and they find this item and it's like on a wall, and them taking it off opens the door to something else, and it was the lock keeping it in.
Yeah, that's like the last ward keeping like whatever bad thing restrained is.
Maybe there's like, we'll think about like D&D creatures. So let's say we're in the cave, right? We're in the cave that they have to get to, and there's the cave drawings, and it shows like this large creature fighting another large creature. You don't know what it is. You don't know what either of them are. You've never seen them before. And then there's another one where it's like the large creature standing above the people there, like he's protecting them or whatever. And then the last drawing is of the artifact locking this thing in, but it's covered in like what is it, like black mold? What the hell is the creature? Christ, what is it called? Oh, mold.
As a side note, I just had the idea that the artifact's actually a mimic, and now I can't get that idea out of my head.
No, but that'd be a good trap. Like early on in the cave that they're putting it in, they have a mimic of the artifact to kind of like try and deter people. That could be a fun little first booby trap they encounter.
So I just typed in slime and I got the Pudding King.
What?
Yeah.
He said he got the Pudding King. Did he stutter?
What the hell?
In D&D Beyond?
Is it brown ooze?
I'm typing in the Pudding King. I must know. Pudding King. And I misspelled king. Very cool. And I misspelled it again.
Letters, that's impressive.
Brown mold.
Interesting. I forgot that ooze is an actual creature type.
Dungeon hazards. Brown mold. Brown mold feeds on warmth, drawing heat from anything around it. A patch of brown mold typically covers a 10-foot square, and the temperature within 30 feet is always frigid. When a creature moves to within 5 feet of the mold for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it must make a DC 12 con save, taking 4d10 cold damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful. It's immune to fire, and any source of fire brought within 5 feet of a patch causes it to instantly expand outward in the direction of the fire, covering a 10-foot square. So there's like different molds, and there's different slimes. Yellow mold is basically the same thing, but it does poison. The green slime does acid, and it starts to burn off armor and equipment, and it destroys weapons.
I also thought the Pudding King. And it's pretty fucking sick.
But like that thing could be covering the cave drawing or something that says like, hey, keep this thing locked in, basically.
Yeah.
So then if they try to get rid of the mold, like they're gonna take damage and they're gonna try to stay away from it. So they won't even know what's underneath it unless they actually destroy it and realize, oh, this is what the cave drawing is.
So we've kind of discussed a few different obstacles that they have to overcome. So, like for one, the cave drawings. Two, we've discussed the locals' disdain with the group interfering with the artifact, and then we've discussed traps. This is a one-shot. I don't know if we need to really establish anything else other than like I know we've talked about like acts of God, essentially like nature and exhaustion and things like that. So other than like weather-based ones, I don't know if there's anything else we really need to work on as far as like things to encounter are. I think it's just like laying it out at this point. Like we got a lot there, and then we can flesh out the in-betweens.
I mean, we did get like, because if you think about it, like going to the weather thing alone could take God knows how long.
Exactly.
And then going to the cave could take however, and that could be just like 90% of the whole like thing right there.
Yeah, like I don't know too many people that play much longer than like 4 hours. You know, like this has to be kind of established in that amount of time, like 3 to 6 hours at best.
I think you're right. Like a lot of the broader like beats that we want to hit are already kind of worked out. So now it's just kind of like fine tuning and getting kind of more specific on some things. And
right. So then should we go back to the beginning and kind of just go into the specifics there, or should we just like, oh no, I guess no, because it would be.
Well, it's written down. We got like tidbits here and there. We can kind of just start fleshing out because we don't know what order the hypothetical players are going to be doing this in. So they could very much run into the locals. Like if we still go back to the idea of them like seeing the smoke from the fire in the distance and going that way. If there's like going towards the sound, if like that draws them towards like the cave. If we kind of separate those three, like the cave, the locals, and the like the actual tome of the artifact. How many cats are coming in my room? Jesus, I'm gonna throw mine. And then if we kind of make those three like able to kind of coexist in different parts of the session, then that could also like depend on like how long it's going to take and like how much information the players really have. So if they go directly towards like the artifact for whatever reason, like that's going to they're just going to start investigating these traps and kind of be at odds with that for a while rather than like finding any of the previous information. And I think leaving that open to like reduce the amount of railroading is probably important. But
Okay. So I mean, I'm watching Ryan type the thing up on the in the Twitch.
in the Twitch.
In the Twitch, yes.
Watching the football with my grandson.
Yeah. God damn it.
You said
there it is.
Eddie, bingo.
Bingo.
really should have found that card.
Ugh. Man, I sure love this. Don't regret this. Anyway, I'm just reading what he's got down here. Hold on. Should we go into specifics of like now what we should like have them do? Like what kind of checks they make when certain things happen? Like I know we talked about the crate in the thingy. It's like, oh, a crate has like tumble someone or whatever.
So if we are going with the survival aspect of it, rather than having like just like an onslaught of journals and like written information. I do like the idea of there being something in that barrel to kind of help them survive on the island. So they open it up and it's like enough rations that they don't have to like start hunting for food. They just need to find shelter.
I'm talking about when they're going through the storm, but yeah, that's actually
so. We can put rations and stuff in there, but I was also thinking it would be journals. It was basically like finding Volo's guide to this island. So there would be like drawings of the various creatures that they might encounter. So that way it would also give some sort of insight of the creatures they might see in this one shot. So not just the big bad, but also like the smaller little things, like maybe there's bugs, maybe there's like certain plants, and it'll have notes like avoid yellow plants that spit because they are spitting acid in your face and they're going to eat you. I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
So
it'd be kind of neat if I'm sorry. It'd be kind of neat if like the big bad is actually in that journal over it, but it's like ripped and smudged to hell. Like, I thought that'd be kind of funny. Anyway.
So rather than that being in the crate, you said somebody was trying to help the captain from falling overboard. What if that's something he had in his jacket? And if you roll like high while you're trying to save him, you grab onto his jacket and you pull out the scroll or the book or whatever this was written on, and then he falls. So that way you are still rewarded high for trying to save the captain. And then that could separate. So each kind of task that they attempt to do while the ship is crashing has its own separate benefit or determinant depending on how high they roll. So they secure the crate, they got food, they help the captain, they get that guide, they tie down the sails, they can use those as like tarps or blanket, I don't know. But there's just separate benefits for each thing that they're trying to accomplish.
How do we feel about one of the things that they could possibly get from rolling well on that initial encounter is some sort of like pocket translator to be able to communicate with the indigenous tribe? So that way they could at least like have a heads up about some of the types of traps that are in there to have an easier time getting through the cave.
So maybe, I forget the name of the guy. You know that like short dude in like the striped shirt from Captain Hook? Like the old looking guy.
Oh, Waldo.
Yeah, Waldo from Peter Pan. Yeah, so Shmi, like it was like, I don't know what his role was, but essentially like as the ship's crashing, like you're helping the Shmi of the ship kind of collect and gather like something from like one of the chambers, and if you're successful at like grabbing these things that are being like tossed and thrown around the room from the rapids of the swaying of the ship, then one of the things you get is like how to speak whatever this, you know, like a conversations for dummies kind of thing. So whatever his role is that's one of the things you find. So what are some other things that they could be, because the ship's getting thrown around pretty violently, like helping people on board seems kind of like an obvious one, but I don't want to like overplay that one. They probably have some kind of like, I don't know, like side ship canoe kind of deal going on. I'm out of ideas. I don't know. Folks.
My brain went to like an oil lamp kind of falls and then sets the goddamn ship on fire.
I missed your prompt. What are you trying to figure out now?
Just other things, because if there's 4 players, let's say, and then creating like 4 separate things for them to be doing, one of them tying down like the rations barrel, one of them helping the captain, trying to find like something for like I'm gonna say Kadash, for Dane's suggestion for like finding some kind of like translator for like a pocketbook for the local language.
In the crate maybe, or would that be maybe that would be in the journal the captain has?
Yeah, that could all
it could be that,
kind of like under one kind of
So I don't know if you guys are reading what I have on the screen, but I'll read it to you if you're not, if you want me to. So right now at the start of this, explain that they are part of a crew that is going to an island to look for a hidden artifact. When you jump in, have them start on a ship in the middle of a storm. Have the players roll checks to help survive through the storm. Maybe add something specific like a crate that an NPC is desperately trying to hold down before they get knocked off the ship by a tidal wave. The crate has rations to survive on the island, rope, survival gear, and smaller weapons. The captain is about to fall overboard, and if a player attempts to save them and rolls high, they may grab a journal from inside their jacket with drawings of the creatures that exist on the island and loose translations of the native languages. And when the players get through the storm, they will see the large island in front of them with a circle of storms surrounding the entirety of it. On shore, they will hear a loud roar and feel tremors as a creature walks in the distance. What else do they find when they get to shore? Or let's go back. What is there more stuff on the ship that you want to do?
I think that's enough for the ship. Like, I think I'm trying to like flesh it out too much for one shot again. So just kind of having.
True, because you could always do like, split it off like 2 and 2. Like 2 people help tie the crate down, and 2 people help the captain. Because like some of that I think adds more realism towards like a lot is happening. It is a group effort to really like fix some of these things that are happening.
Right.
Not to mention, like, not every single task has to have a direct benefit.
Right.
Like, just the fact that some people are succeeding and like they get this, they might all fail too. So, I think just going straight to the island. I like the idea of kind of the fire that you're saying before, because that could lead them to the locals, who would then have the. If you have the pocketbook, they could just be like, don't do that. But if you don't, that's they kind of have their implied sustained disdain towards your mission. Finding some kind of like path or roadway that could lead into the tome of the artifact. I don't know if do we want it to be hidden, or do we want it to be obvious where it is? Because
do they have a map?
I believe there would be one with the Volo's guide that you mentioned, Captain.
Drawing something. So
maybe a map would be too.
I was
too
gonna.
much.
Well, yes and no. Maybe because it's a one shot, and especially if it's with new players. Maybe if you gave like. The other thing I like to do sometimes is have like actual physical things to hand out to players. So maybe if you were to literally draw a map and be like, okay, you open up this crate that you latch down, or you open up the journal and you see like a loose leaf hand-drawn map falls out of the rough island, the idea of the island, and then maybe there's like an X mark from where they are. And maybe have like a couple landmarks around. So maybe the ship lands near a rock that sort of looks like the head of an eagle or something. So then you could have like a small little eagle rock down in the bottom left-hand corner to give them some sort of semblance of where they are. And then the X mark would be where they think they need to go. Just because it is a one-shot, so you do kind of want to have it railroaded a little bit.
Yeah, so I guess using it as more of a like a guide, rather than like nobody's going to argue let's not go to the X, you know?
Jesus.
So just adding some kind of adding those hurdles along the way.
Yeah, because if there's like a few like landmarks that are like on it, it could be like, all right, like you get here and then there's like chance for like some weird encounter. It could be running into the tribe. It could be a bear just like hanging out. That it's like, well, we could fight this bear. We could try to sneak off and not wake it up.
Yeah. I just want to just really quick, if you're watching this and you haven't followed us yet, that would be super awesome, greatly appreciated. We kind of do this every Sunday, maybe not this exact thing, but we play D&D and paint stuff and do a lot of nerdy things. If you like that, definitely give us a follow. That'd be greatly appreciated.
And if you don't like that, go away.
No, God, wait, no.
if you don't like that and you've been sticking with us, I mean, I think we have more questions than answers. So.
Yeah. So speaking of questions, though, where is Fred Durst on this island?
What?
He's the big bad.
He's the big bad that's trapped.
Oh, right.
That's the
red caps. We gotta start with red caps. So red caps are on the island. That's our first hurdle is red caps.
I wanted to
100% very serious about that.
Red caps are just fun.
They're little. They're
yeah.
They're sick. They're basically goblins, but oh wait, are they red caps or mad caps?
I think it's red caps.
Oh Christ!
Madcap sounds way more familiar.
Are they considered Fae?
They are.
No, I have it up too. Now I just need to know.
Okay, so madcap is the variant of red caps.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just gonna go with madcaps. Well, so the red caps. The red caps, they're basically little goblins. Challenge rating of 3 though. 13 armor class, 45 hit points. 3 attacks. Maybe too much?
That's a lot. Maybe 1 red cap?
Maybe too much, maybe.
A small band of them?
Yeah, I mean, it's got 45 hit points, so I definitely wouldn't put like a lot of them. Maybe like
with a
1 or
triple
2.
attack though. Yikes! Oh no, here red cap. I found red cap. It's in the Avernus book.
Yeah.
Oh no, same exact stat block though.
I think they're level 5, so if it's like 4 level 5 PCs, it's on average doing 9 damage. Like,
well, let's
5 rounds of combat though.
Let's do here. Let me
It's
pull
not
up.
5 rounds of combat, like 5.
I'll open the encounter builder here. Let's do we'll create new.
Yeah, I guess it'll just be 2 rounds of combat then if they all hit. So,
Yeah.
So we'll
each
do
one hits about 9 damage, and then next turn it's dead. So
4 characters level 3.
I think we were saying 5.
5 for first time players though. That's a lot of information to know.
It is.
I usually start at 2.
I mean, we're just kind of assuming it's for first-time players. I guess I get trying to make it inclusive, but yeah, like I guess level 3 is fine.
yeah, that works. That way, it's a few steps above base.
So 1 red cap is going to be a medium encounter. 2 of them is deadly.
Probably just 1 then.
So maybe
Just one named
trying-
Fred.
maybe one red cap with
Leading a band of.
badgers.
1
Yo, I
red
would
cap
love
just
that.
covered in body paint.
That'd be pretty goddamn sick.
All right, so a red cap maybe with I just filtered some more Fey creatures. Some pixies. No, they're neutral good. Blink dog. Lawful good. But lawful
Blink
also
dog?
means it will listen. Christ. A red cap and 1 red cap and 1 blink dog would be a hard encounter.
Okay.
Find it hard to believe that a red cap would be wandering around by itself though.
Well, just with its dog companion. Took it out for a walk, and then these jerks got in this fight. Nobody really knows why. It's a lot of he said, she said bullshit. And then that hurt me to say.
Did it? Because that felt great to hear.
It sounded pretty natural to me.
Yeah, that rolled off your tongue and you could feel it.
Man, I feel dirty. I want to shower. Eddie, you don't get this? That's a line from a song.
That's before your time.
Break stuff.
Like what?
Yep, you got it. Alright, Anthony has finally arrived. Anthony. We're doing stuff. What's up, dog? Oh wait, no, there's a different Anthony. There's 2 Anthonys. We got 2 Anthonys. Edward's twin Anthony is here. So
Are you guys deciding a one shot? Yep, and kind of rewriting King Kong.
Yeah, we pretty much wrote King Kong.
We felt that King Kong didn't have enough new metal, so we're just kind of trying to correct its faults.
Hey, do you ever watch King Kong and thought, hey, you know what? I get what this ape's about.
Yeah.
Yes, I
just
have.
like I like blonde ladies and dislike airplanes too. So I feel was that King Kong?
I don't know.
Yes.
You know who else likes both of those things? Fred Durst. Welcome to our Limbiskit crossover.
So maybe the red cap hears the ship or sees the ship coming and runs out of the forest to see them and then attacks, or doesn't attack. What do we think?
Uh,
I think giving the players the option to approach it.
I almost like the idea of encountering it like while you're looking for like the landmarks on your way to
like 2 seconds.
on your
Like,
way
they hear-
to like one of the landmarks, like finding your way through.
Yeah, they hear rustling in the forest as
Yeah.
they're searching through the cave, and then if they stop to inspect it, it's this guy taking his blink dog for a walk.
like a random Pokemon encounter,
Right.
or like you don't have to engage with it if you want to. Just don't make eye contact with it.
Death comes for us all. So
All right. So onshore, they'll hear a loud roar and feel tremors as a creature walks in the distance. They see a plume of smoke rising above the forest. Are we sticking with that one?
yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
What is the plume of smoke?
Shit.
It could just be where the tribe is.
Yeah.
That's what I
on
was thinking.
fire.
What race is the tribe going to be? Are they going to be like elves, satyrs? Like, what are we talking here? I like the idea of it being satyrs. Like, if we're going with like fey creatures.
Okay.
What about something real weird?
Real weird.
Uh,
Limp Bizkit fans.
Something real weird.
oh my god.
Maybe the red caps are the indigenous.
I mean,
That'd be
yeah.
awful.
Stupid. that was good. Oh my god.
There's quicklings, there's pixies.
Is it pronounced boosh or booch? Like pooch or like
I think Booch.
booch?
Yeah.
Boosh skadoosh.
Booch. That said volcano plume, which could be interesting. I don't know that.
Oh, yeah, that
volcano's
could be.
plume, but that could also add like a sense of like danger. Like, does that mean that's gonna go off soon? Because
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's just there to like add, like we were saying before about like adding tension or like adding a
Yeah.
specific tone to it, like
just to
Well, that's
pique your
not
players'
good.
anxiety. Like, just be
Yeah.
like, hey, not to mention there's things that want to kill you, but also God's mad.
yeah.
So
Also, nature
Also,
just is
God's
not
mad.
happy.
yeah. I slept wrong. My back is killing me.
Mm.
Do you know what else is killing me? How sick this wooden D20 is. Let's see. I can't put it down. I'm in love with it.
What about dryads? Could it be a tribe of dryads?
Dryads could be cool. What's the
Interesting.
language for
A
dryads?
tribe?
Probably Fae
Elvish and Sylvan.
or Sylvan.
Okay.
Yeah, Fae is
So,
the language.
The
Just making shit up.
the thing is like if we have elves, they would automatically be able to like speak with the locals. But should we have it so that way they're kind of like disconnected from society? They have their own kind of tongue or form of speech.
There's
to
also boggles.
Bless you.
maybe say more.
They only know Sylvan.
Okay.
They are these. Oh yeah, that's what they are. The indigenous tribe are boggles. I will send links. There's one for you.
What about that one like race that like anytime like enough of them believe in something, they just like it becomes real?
Oh, you mean like the Peter Pan race?
What? I don't fucking no. I mean like the what are they, birds or something? I don't remember.
Oh, I like that.
The boggles.
Like this.
But there's like a D&D race. Like if you like enough of them believe like something's like real, it'll happen. Like they'll believe all like a garbage can's like sentient god, and it becomes a sentient god. I cannot remember the name of the thing.
No idea. Anthony, that's the dog bark. Anthony's dog barking.
Bingo.
Well, Anthony's in chat, so.
Oh.
Anthony, take out the dog.
Walk the dog.
It's your turn to take out the dog.
God damn.
He's gonna have PTSD from that. Alright, so I'm making an executive decision. The tribe is Boggles.
Yep.
Sounds a-okay to me. Hold on a
I'll
second.
show they hear a loud roar and feel tremors as a creature walks in the distance. They see a plume of smoke rising above the forest, coming from where the tribe of Boggle are living. The first encounter is a redcap and its pet Blink dog. The party will come across them on their way to finding the first landmark on the shore. Next. What's next?
Rocks fall, the players die.
Hell yeah. I think at this point, like, there's already been, like, the first encounter from the ship. They're kind of, they've been given the lay of the land. They have the meeting with the Boggles and the potential redcap encounter. That's a lot. I think at this point we should probably just... Oops, I clicked the button. We should probably just have them face the cavern where the artifact is.
Okay. So they get to
the traps there, like
they get to the X on this. So maybe the X is in the volcano. Maybe it's either in the top or it's like a cave that goes into it underneath.
I like that.
Yeah, that could also, like, if anybody doesn't have dark vision, like the red glow from the magma can be like a light source as well that you can kind of use to paint
through like
picture.
cracks in the walls and stuff. You can like, there's like weird, almost like rope light kind of effects of like magma.
Yeah, like the veins of like the magma peering through the walls is lighting their path.
So once they get into the cave, they will have some traps. What traps? What are we doing?
So I know we were kind of joking about the artifact being a mimic, but I kind of do dig that. Like right at the beginning of the cavern or wherever it is in the volcano, they encounter what they think is the artifact, but it's just a mimic of it that wants to eat them.
What is the artifact? Did we establish this?
No, I don't think we've really said much about it. I don't know if it needs to be overly fleshed out. Could just be like, call it like the I don't know. I mean,
it should be something. They have to be. They know.
Well, yeah,
they know what they're looking for.
Well, yeah, like it should have some kind of like stat and name, but I don't know if it's like the exact like purpose of the artifact is overly imperative.
Bucci just said, "Give the new players not to trust anything. That's smart."
Yeah, that's step one at D&D. Trust nobody. Your friends aren't your friends. The team wants to kill you. But yeah, no. Do we want it to be a gem? Do we want it to be like a weapon? Do we want it to be like a tome of some sort?
So if it's a Fey island where the indigenous Boggles live, guarded by the protector of the island, I don't know that it would be a book. So maybe it's some sort of like gem or some sort of stone or something, and it gives you some sort of Fey ability, some sort of like, it gives you something. What's it give you? May have accidentally just opened up a Logitech app that's gonna destroy my camera. Shit. Close. Fae. Okay. What abilities do the Fae have? What would they protect?
Well, is it something that they don't want other creatures to possess? Like they're being like.
I mean, I would assume so, right? If it's guarded in a volcano.
The options are that like, it's that like, oh, they don't want anybody to have this power. Is it something like that nefarious, or is it like, just they're being kind of like gatekeeping, like people other than the Fae, beings other than the Fae should not possess this power? Is it something that they have, like they can do themselves?
Well, actually, what D&D spells are there that would contain something?
Imprisonment.
Like,
Yeah. Let's, because that is what it will do, right? Jesus, I just not. Come on. What level spell is that? 9th level spell.
oof.
I mean, we're also talking about an island where there's potentially a terrace trying to keep something in, so that level spell isn't completely out of the question.
Right, so
Also
the
a one shot, so I
the
mean,
gem.
like,
Well, here's the point, right? So the gem itself has the spell Slumber in it from the imprisonment spell, and when it's in the wall, it's putting whatever's behind the wall to sleep. So when they get this artifact that they were told gives them something, like what would it give them? They go to take this thing and they realize, oh, it's not going to actually do that. It's just this thing that has a spell, and once you pull it out, it's like that spell slot has been used, so it's not actually active and you can't use it.
I just had an idea. Like, what if it was something that was like poorly translated, which is why we have that like potentially have that pocket translator where it's like this artifact will like bring you like make you like awakened, and like was interpreted as like, you know, unlocking like hidden potential or like limitless knowledge kind of a thing. What they really mean is like taking this out like will awaken.
So basically, like be very obvious about it. Like, hey,
yeah,
this is a glyph of awakening, essentially.
Right.
And really, what that is it's going to awaken whatever is being put to sleep from this glyph.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I can see the watermark on your background, Dane, and now I can't unsee it.
Nice.
Okay. This is where volcano is. Okay, you'll need to explore to find a gem with the gem used with the spell imprisonment. Is it sleep? Is that what I said? Slumber.
Yeah.
In the journal, there is a loose understanding that the gem will awaken your spirit. Will awaken your spirit and help the bearer achieve enlightenment or atonement.
Missed everything, so I'm just gonna say good.
I think anything like that, just to have like, even just like like the sparknets of like, yeah, like it's some gem that's gonna like awaken us and like unlock hidden potential or something, like, you know what I mean? Like it's something where it's like, yeah, it's something about awakening and potential and hidden and something like.
All right, so the X on the map is located where the volcano is, and there is a cave that they need to explore to find a gem infused with the 9th level spell Imprisonment. In the journal, there is a loose understanding that the gem will awaken your spirit and help the bearer achieve enlightenment or atonement. However, when they remove the gem from the wall, the only thing that is awakened is the creatures behind the wall that the gem rests in.
Yep, no, I like that. It gives a solid
Once they get
twist as the don't trust anything thing we were talking about.
First thing they will encounter is a wall with a gem in it. And the gem is a mimic. After it is destroyed, it will allow them to continue deeper into the cave.
How many booby traps do you think there should be? Like
400.
400. Okay, so that's the first one.
Yep.
Number 2, 18, 21, and 79 could probably all be the same. We could just have, do we want something like, we talked about Indiana Jones, do we want like a spike pit? Do we want like a swinging axe or like a log, or do we want like a boulder? Do we want something more like, have you guys seen the D&D movie?
Yes.
Yeah, when I was like 7.
Dude, I love that movie. I know it's bad, but I love it. The way like when Ridley, whatever, when he's yelling at the mage girl and he's like, "Won't you know, mage?" and he says it like it's a slur. I was taken aback. I was like, I don't think you can say that, sir.
So anybody in the chat that's watching, I just asked, what are some fun dungeon encounters that you guys have done that we can throw into this volcano cave, Volcavo?
Volcavo.
We got traps, we got puzzles, we got creatures. What would be interesting? We could do something with like the lava itself. So after they get past the wall, maybe there's like a stream of lava or something. Even though lava damage is like 10d10 or something like that. Yeah, it's a lot.
Oops, you combusted. Hope you enjoyed your first D&D encounter.
So maybe like there's like a rickety bridge or something over a stream of lava.
Throw in hags was suggested. Just
hags.
What about if you combine like do it like that scene in when they're trying to get to One-Eyed Willie's treasure in the Goonies, and there's that organ like encounter, I guess, basically where they have to like play the sequence correctly, or if they play it wrong, then like the platform they're on starts falling apart.
But what I was going to say about the D&D movie is they're going through this dungeon with their cavern or whatever it was, with all these traps, and there's this like intricate one where there's these runes on the floor, and if they stepped on the wrong ones, fire came through. We could kind of replace that same idea with lava. I don't really remember it.
Say that one more time.
In the D&D movie, they did this thing. They're in some kind of dungeon crawl scenario where they were walking through. They had to step on these particular runes, and if they stepped on the wrong ones, fire would burst from the wall or the floors or whatever. We can kind of do something similar with lava. So it kind of goes hand in hand with the piano organ thing, where they have to get the sequence right or something bad happens. So we can kind of like combine the two to have some kind of a runic sequence for kind of like.
Ready? Go with me on this. Ready? There's a hallway in the cave with 4 different runes. There's not just 4, but 60 runes or whatever. But they're 4 different designs. One is like the shape of a mountain. One is like some wind lines.
They could just be like elemental.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But what they are is the opposite. So you have to step on the air for the safety, because that's the ground. And if you step on the ground ones, it would throw you up into the ceiling or something. And you have to make a dex save to, maybe they're large enough for you to not fall on a bunch of them, but like you have to jump between them.
Yeah.
Neat.
And then the water one would be Lava. No. Nope. I already said that one. What did I say? What's left?
You
Fire?
didn't say lava.
So the
Yeah,
water
you
one
did.
would be the lava, and then the fire one would be...
Would be water probably, because it's probably just opposites, right?
Yeah. But I don't know where the water would come from in the cave. Maybe just more lava?
Oh, what if rather than like lava coming in from the cave, water was kept somewhere in the cave, and that would rush in. But if you step on the water one, rather than like lava rushing in, the tile below you broke and went into the magma below.
Well, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Like when you stepped on the water one or whatever, it would fall. It would just break out from underneath you, and you would fall into the lava right there.
Then you have to make
Not
an
fall, but
athletics
like
or acrobatics save in order to.
Yeah, you make a dex save to not totally fall in.
Yeah.
But I feel like a hallway like that could be a little bit tricky. Because, like, what happens if they save themselves? Do they land on a different tile? Or what, you know?
Depends on where they are, I guess. If they're getting pretty far in it, they probably figured out the method at that point. But at the beginning, they probably just jump back to the start, right?
Maybe. I mean, we're also looking at this like, we're building it so we understand the encounter. We're not the players like in whatever state of mind they are trying, like, because there's been a bunch of times where I built an encounter where it's like, yeah, it's clearly this, and like they'll figure it out pretty quick. Next thing you know, your players are working on this encounter for 2 hours and they have no idea. Like,
yeah,
what I mean? Like you search up puzzles for kids, you give them to your group, and all of a sudden, like your smart 20, 30 something year old friends can't figure out something you found on the back of a kid's menu at Denny's.
Right.
So
I think even keeping it easy to where, like, if you correctly figure out, like, all right, like the symbol on the wall is earth, and there's 4 symbols that are on the ground, and it's like, you hit the air one because that's opposite earth, nothing happens, you walk by. If you pick anything else that's that, then it's like, a chunk of earth like falls from the ceiling and you have to try to get out of the way. So it's like it's like your yes anding, where it's like, you didn't pass, but you still have a chance to like not take damage or as much damage from this that's falling.
One thing I
keep
need
it a little bit easier.
A little bit off topic, but like one thing when it comes to like the runes, that actually just reminded me of something. I did something like that, like, because there was like this one shot I played with like the kids at work, and they were in front of this pyramid or whatever. And to get into the pyramid, there was these like rune symbols, and like the symbols resembled elements or whatever. And like it was like fire, wind. It was so dumb how they solved it. Fire, wind, spit, water. Well, they spit on it, and that's how they locked the water one. And then it was just like, it brought me back to that, where it's just like going through a whole thing. They had to find like ways to put that element on to the rune to like unlock that part of the door.
So I think the second encounter should be something extremely simple, like going over a rope bridge over a stream of lava. And I think if it's like a long rope bridge and you try to explain like, oh, this is like a really rickety looking bridge, they might take a long time crossing it, right? Like they might, depending on who they are or what they're doing, I don't think anyone would be like, okay, I run across the rope bridge. I couldn't see that actually happening. Maybe 1 out of 10 people. But like that could be something just to slowly. Basically, all you're doing is trying to fill essentially 3 hours, right? Up until this point, we have the storm. We have them figuring out what's going on when they get to the shore. Then we have the tribe of boggles if they go that way. We have the red cap with the blink dog, and then we get to the cave. So the first thing is going to be the mimic encounter, and then a potential puzzle or something simple like the rope bridge.
I just had an idea. What if like the rope bridge is like the last like encounter before they get to whatever the artifact is, but part of the deal with the rope bridge is like, if they decide to like run from whatever this monster is, that they might have to try to deal with it before trying to cross that bridge, or this thing could try to take the bridge out, or you know what I mean, like tackling with it like that.
Okay.
Like it's not a problem now, but depending on how that goes, it could definitely be a problem.
All right, so let's go back to the runes then. Let's solidify something, and then we can do the rope bridge, and then the last little section will be the cave drawings next to the actual gem, and then releasing the creature and then getting out. And then even depending on how long the session has been up to that point, maybe them getting out is like the camera panning away, like you begin to race your way out as you just hear all this like skittering or something coming from behind you, and leave them wanting more, essentially. Like what happens next,
Yeah, I like also the idea of one-shots being kind of open to kind of build off again, like if they enjoyed it that much, it gives you time to kind of like incorporate this into like a campaign setting. It works as like a session 0.5, so when you begin another campaign, you can skip past the why do we all know each other, why are we together, so it also works as like a building block for something else. So I do like leaving it open. With that said, I gotta get out of here, Ryan, and I guess you too as well. But I gotta go pick up Lennon. So
Okay. Well, I think we're just about done here. Would you be able, or would you be opposed to just leaving your webcam like that as it collects your background?
Yeah, no, definitely. I
And then
mute myself and then walk away.
After the call, I'll boot you from it.
Yep, sounds good. This was a lot of fun. I like this. We got a good thing going here. I'm really interested to see if we can flesh this out, and I'd love to try and play it one of these days too.
Okay.
If you guys are down.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for this. And thanks everybody for watching. I will see y'all, I guess, next Sunday when we. Oh God, next Sunday's the
Next Sunday's painting.
Okay, well, I'll see you in 2 weeks when we pick up with Hangman's Oracle.
Okay.
Okay.
Adios.
Bye.
Later,
dude.
All right. So let's we can finish up this little section here, and then we can do one more quick rundown and then call it, maybe.
Yeah,
Sounds
sure.
All right.
I'm kind of at the point where, like Dylan had mentioned, like, we obviously like have a lot of good ideas, but we don't want to put too much in there and turn this into like a 6-7 hour one shot type of thing.
Yeah.
So I almost like the idea of like cutting the runic part out, where it's like, you get past the mimic and it's like, you traverse down and you see this like really rickety bridge over like a river of lava.
So
Yeah.
my only thing is like, just from like running multiple one shots, the things that usually take the longest are the puzzle things. So if we have the one encounter of the red cap and the blink dog, right? That might not even be like an actual encounter. Like maybe instead the red cap runs off and they try to chase after him, and then it leads them to wherever.
Tribe or whatever.
There's like a bunch of different ways you can go with this, so we would just need to make sure it stays on rails. And that's kind of like why I was trying to like do the rundown, so you have like the idea of how long it's going to take. Like this first section up into the cave might take about like an hour and a half. Like the whole entire narrative in the beginning, the storm and everything, that's going to take 20 to 30 minutes to even get through. Depending on how much you write in advance to set the scene, set the tone. What you have them do on the ship itself, narrating them approaching the island. They land on the shore, let them sort of play it out real quick, see what they got to do, give them that map that shows the landmarks, have them like make some perception checks, see if they need to go anywhere, see what they want to do, and then they hear the roar of the creature. Maybe in that perception check roll, they see the plume of smoke off in the distance. As they're going towards whatever direction they want to go, they see the red cap with the blink dog. who either A, attacks or B, doesn't attack. If it attacks, that's one combat encounter that could take 30 minutes. They find either the boggles or they go right to the volcano. I don't know what the boggles would do. We didn't flesh that out, but depending on that, like that could be another 10 to 30 minutes there. So we're at like an hour and a half, and then you get to the volcano. They find the cave pretty quickly. They find the gem pretty quickly, find out it's a mimic. That's another 10, 15 minute encounter.
So, curiosity on that note, what's the CR on a mimic?
You know, high. I don't know if I've ever actually used a mimic. Oh, I have. I did one time.
I've done it a few times, but I don't remember.
12 AC, 58 hit points.
Oh, all right, that's not bad. I was just thinking of that, like, oh, like on paper this sounds fine, but then I didn't know if it was going to come back and be like, this is a CR10 thing. It's like,
no. And then even that, like, so it could also change. Like a mimic for this picture is a chest. So like the gem mimic might have a 14 AC.
Yeah,
with,
it could just be like a lot smaller.
Yeah, exactly. It could be whatever. Way less hit points or something. It could be a faster encounter entirely. And then the puzzle itself could take anywhere between 2 minutes to solve if they can figure out like, oh, you know what? This is clearly a puzzle. Maybe we're supposed to do the opposite of what they are. They jump across it, no problem. That's 2 minutes done. You know what I mean? Or they start trying all the different things, and maybe they step on one and it's lava. Then they step on the second one and it's lava. They're like, okay, how do we get across this? Because clearly we're not supposed to touch any of them. And just try to avoid they might try to avoid it altogether. So maybe not runes, maybe something else.
What if instead of just like a hallway, if like they get to a dead end that just has like those symbols on the wall and the same symbols on the floor, and it's just a matter of them figuring out like the right sequence of them to press them in order to get the symbols on the wall to light up a certain way.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, and with the lava, we'll bring in the lava into account. Maybe like exactly go back to the Goonies as they do a combination. If they fail it, to their left and to the right, the walls like descend like 2 feet. And from the opening in the walls, they can feel heat billow out, and they see just like glowing red. And then if they fail again, it lowers more, and it kind of gives them like, you know, X amount of chances before the lava starts to pour out.
I like that.
Okay, so let's go back to the second encounter. Will be a second wall with 4. What the hell are those things called? Not impressions. 4 stone. Is it depressed?
Just be runes.
4 runes. Second encounter will be a second wall. Will be another wall with 4 runes, each representing the 4 elements. They must press the runes in a specific order, or the walls to the left and right will slowly descend to send, revealing lava on either side. Heat billows out, and the glow of the magma should urge them to think on their feet. The combination is do they just need to press one of them? Or do they have to do it in a certain... Could be alphabetical.
Ooh,
Air,
alphabetical.
Air,
I like that.
Earth, Fire, A, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F, Water? Air, earth, fire, water?
Yes.
Nation is alpha. Air, earth, fire, water. So we'll do Edward, quick. In Avatar, what's the order of the elements in when they explain them?
Fuck. Water. I think it's water, earth, fire, air. I know water's first. Hold on. I'm gonna look at that up. I'm glad you went straight to me for that too. I don't know. as if I would know. Of course.
So we'll say I made a note for both, so that way when you read them, it's like, okay, you see the water, earth, fire, and air.
Yep, it's water, earth, fire, air. I'm a fucking genius.
So then later the combination is alphabetical: air, earth, fire, water. Thanks, Pooch. Okay. So once the correct combination, Jesus Christ, is put in, the wall will descend and reveal the rest of the cave. The third encounter will be a simple rope bridge over a river of lava. The wooden planks and the ropes will look old and rickety. And should urge the players to take it slow. On the other side of the bridge, they will see a second gem, much like the mimic, and also cave writings.
Nice.
Cave
Boosh.
drawings.
Boosh started doing the whole... doing the whole thing.
Long ago.
Oh, yeah,
I also really like how now that the first gem that the party would have encountered was a mimic, now they're coming up to this one. It's like, all right, like what kind of bullshit is this?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Not even letting that be like a trap. It's like, no, this is the real one. But like actually like taking it off is gonna wake up whatever.
Show.
This beast is.
What do the cave drawings show? In order.
Fuck. I don't know. Wouldn't it be like... Shit. We established that the big monster in the end, I'm trying to remember, is that... What was it? Did we decide what it was?
In the end?
What was it? Did we say it was an Urak or the fuck it's called?
I think we were establishing the Udak thing was going to be the protector, or no?
Yeah, I thought that's what we were saying.
I thought that was going to be the, like whatever the. Well, I mean, it could be. I guess it could be the protector, or it could be something like. I almost thought that was the thing that was trapped down here.
Okay. I just didn't know if we wanted to reveal something that the party might want to try to fight, like Eddie was saying.
Yeah, I mean, in my head, it'd be really fun just to like have it, like be like you fight this big bad, and then add like and you're winning, and it's like kind of close, and then out of nowhere, the fucking actual protector, whatever, beats it to a pulp, shows you up, and then you're like the players like it won't be indicated if that thing is necessarily friendly or not, or if it's just trying to eat, and the players can either just try to run away or whatever. I don't know, it scares them off.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm trying to think.
But I guess what would be the thing either way that they would fight if they were going to fight that something? Because I mean, we could go.
What if what is slumbering is the volcano?
Okay.
And they remove the gem.
And then the volcano starts erupting?
Yeah.
Or kind of in the same vein of things, but what if it is like some kind of like lava or fire elemental that's trapped in the volcano that, you know, taking this gem out is going to make it erupt, but it's also going to wake up this other thing that now is pissed. Like,
so are we not doing the Udak at all?
I thought that was a protector.
So a fire elemental is a challenge rating 5. And if we can say that it is a fire elemental, and it's larger than normal, but it's a fire elemental, and if it, what was the thing from Spider-Man? If it touches metal or whatever, it gets bigger. So maybe this one, if it gets out and it gets into the volcano, it can grow to be like a giant, like, what's the thing from Fantasia?
Chernobog?
Yeah, it could be some sort of like Chernobog style thing that now the protector has to fight. Or if the danger would be like if it touches, we can have the cave drawings be like Bucci just said
removing the gem. Yeah, Bucci removing the gem unleashes some big terrible thing in the world.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. Was like maybe they take the gem out, and then like the fade to black thing, like I said before, like when they were running across the bridge, would be like you take the gem out, and then the wall opens up like the other walls did, and you hear like thousands of like skittering creatures just clamoring against the walls, like whatever, or like a bunch of things fly out. And they fly out of the cave to go wherever. But I like the fire elemental thing. I like that idea. So maybe the cave drawings are like we have to make them crude enough, I think, to not.
I think one should probably be of like the protector, but like not probably shown as a protector, but showing like
they show him around. You know,
I mean, just showing like what it is. Like, oh, like that's what's making that noise. Like that thing is terrifying. Like the piece together, like that is like what is that?
The like second... show a big thing with 4 arms, like like you're looking really menacing. That'd be really sick.
Yeah.
The boggle creatures all praying to the protector.
Yeah, I guess you can show them worshiping.
It could be,
thing.
Worshiping.
Because that could just be like out of fear, or like it doesn't necessarily like demonstrate like, you know.
Or we can try to like trick the players, kind of like maybe like the cave drawings look like they're trying to fight the thing, but in reality it's they're worshiping it. Or I don't know, maybe like they're trying to fight something, but they're not sure what it looks like, what it is they're trying to fight, and you assume it's the Udak, but it's actually the elemental.
Yeah. Okay. I also like the idea of one of the drawings being like the Udak putting the gem in the volcano. And then like the last one could just be like a closer up view of the gem, but like what is distorted and you can't really see is like the form of an elemental like behind it.
Bushi said, crazy idea. Whoever sends you wants you to unleash the beast on the world. One drawing could be people worshiping it. Yeah. But like the person who sent you wanted you to unleash it. That'd be kind of neat.
Okay. Yeah. We'll go back. I'll add that quick.
especially if we're talking about like segueing into like an actual campaign and using this as like a session like 0.5. That could be enough to be like, wait a minute. So like the person that sent us there like knew that this was a thing. Like now that person's got some explain. They got some explaining to do.
They got some explaining to do.
Secretly, the captain has hired the crew so that he can unleash the evil hidden in the volcano. These notes are kind of all over the place, but I'll clean it up in post, you know. All right, so I like that. All right, so the drawings. So we got the protector, is the Udak from Critical Role, a large gorilla creature with 4 arms. Nope, a gargantuan gorilla creature with 4 arms. The Boggle creatures all worshipping the protector. The island in flames, maybe?
Ooh, that'd be cool. Yeah. I'm with that.
And the... Do you want to do the thing I mentioned before, where the 4th one is kind of covered up by the brown mold or whatever, the trap?
Yeah.
So then that way, if they try to remove it, they'll take damage, and then if they're like successful, they'll see that the 4th one is them putting the gem into the wall, and then a 5th one or whatever would be I don't know, something that would portray the defeat of the fire elemental. To show like if they take this thing out, something might happen.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how to like. Maybe okay, so there's the first one being the creature's name that I can never remember or pronounce.
Udak.
Second is the Udak. The second is like the Boggles worshipping it. What if the third one is the Boggles or the Udak placing the gem in? So it's that's what we want.
So can the Udak get down there?
Oh yeah, true. Probably can't. It's probably too big. So maybe it's the Boggles putting it there.
That's the third one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe when they're worshipping it, the Udak is giving the gem to the Boggles. Then the Boggles put it there, but the last hidden one is of where the gem is, but it's missing, and while it's missing, everything's on fire.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Or part of that last glyph is shows the gem missing, but what's covered up is that while it's missing, everything's on fire.
Okay.
That's what it's all right, the gem's missing, but the rest of this glyph is hit it, something's blocking it. So there's more to this than that.
The 4th drawing is covered in brown mold. If the players remove it, they will see the final drawing is of the missing gem and the island in flames. So in order, they'd see the protector, which is the gargantuan gorilla creature with 4 arms, the Boggle creatures all worshipping the protector, the Boggles putting the gem in the wall, and the 4th cave drawing is covered in brown mold, which is the trap. If the players remove it, they will see the final drawing is of the missing gem and the island in flames. if they remove the gem, a fire elemental is released. And then this could be like the final battle. So then this could be like, if they defeat the fire elemental, then you can just write some sort of narrative to end the session. If the fire elemental kills them, then you can write the narrative that says the fire elemental then goes out, finds its way up into the volcano, gets larger, and then erupts the volcano and sets the island on fire.
Yeah,
so basically,
you could even almost like plot armor that a little bit, where it's like, you know, if stuff like really starts to go south, like the elemental could like jump into the fire basically and start getting bigger, and now the UDAC has to take care of it.
Yeah.
Or like similarly, like if the party's like really beating the piss out of this thing, it's like you like almost like knock it off a ledge into the lava, and it's like, well, now it's a lot bigger and we can't do this. So now we have to Indiana Jones our way out of this and like sprint across that rickety bridge.
So Booch just said, wouldn't the Boggles want the gem removed to... Oh, hello, Sean. I didn't see you came in. Brain Beast Studios. Sean is another content creator that I've met along the way. He creates these, instead of the DM screen, he creates player screens, which they're really, really sick. They're actually all basically mimic styled designs too. I'll send you guys a link afterwards.
Sounds really cool.
It's really sick, actually. He's currently in the process, I believe, of doing his Kickstarter to do the player screen 2.0. So I'll show you guys that in a little bit.
Bless you. Oh, like that.
When we were done with this, but Booch, he said wouldn't the Boggles want the gem removed to worship the elemental? Maybe that's the bad translation. So I don't know. Bucci, are you asking are you like actually asking that question, or is that what you think the players would interpret upon seeing that? Because I guess that is something to take into account. Like maybe they would think that the Boggles want that gem.
I think that could make sense, because it's like, you know, if first drawing is of the UDAC, the second drawing is them like could be just portrayed as like being terrified of the UDAC, or it could just be them like, you know, what it really is them like thanking the UDAC. It could be then third drawing could be like showing a Boggle like going to put the gem into the slot, and then last one could still be like the gem just not there. But, you know, bigger picture of like, you know, while it's not there, the world's on fire.
Oh, so I think he's actually asking, so why would the Boggles be putting it in if it stops the elemental? Wouldn't they want it out and roaming? I think for like this sort of one shot, I think the idea is the Boggles want the elemental locked up. That's what the spell and the gem is. It's got the imprisonment spell, it's got slumber, so they put it in the wall, it puts the fire elemental to sleep. The protector is there, so I guess would be to keep people out of the volcano, so I guess we kind of skip that, because if somebody gets in the volcano, they're going after the gem, and they're gonna take the gem out and release the fire elemental that will burn the island with the volcano.
Right.
So I guess I don't know. All right, we'll stick.
I mean, you could always like pepper some of that through, like while the party's like making its way to the cave, of like, you know, staying away from the UDAC, because the UDAC's biggest thing is protecting the island as a whole, whether that's from people getting in the cave, whether it's the elemental getting out. Like,
yeah, I guess they technically don't really need to encounter it. Maybe like,
right.
Maybe there is a scene that you want to write in that's like the UDAC is taking a bath in the lake, and you very clearly see it, or maybe you don't see it at all. Maybe it's just like an off-screen sort of threat, like the T-Rex is for most of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So, if the Remove the gem, a fire elemental is released. Its main motivation is getting to the volcano where it will grow to a size similar to the protector and erupt the lava to burn the island. If the players win, they will
get to live.
yeah, if the players win, ... cool. If the players lose, then you can describe the elemental scaling the volcano and growing to a gargantuan size, and the final confrontation between it and the Udak. I think. Did I miss anything?
That's pretty much it. I mean,
Yeah, that's pretty much.
the drawings thing, I think we could always just clean that up, like off stream.
Yeah.
But just to get like the gist of like, you know, revealing the UDAC and like, oh, that's probably the big scary thing that's making all that noise, and like somehow how it interacts with the boggles, something about the gem, and then just some hidden thing about like what the gem's real purpose is.
Okay. Yeah.
That way it can be like interpreted. You know, that way it's like, you know, again, we know what it is, but it's enough to like leave room for interpretation about like what the intent of all that really is.
So yeah, I'm gonna delete all this right here.
Booch has a good point that this needs a name.
It needs a name.
Maybe that's how we end it. Like end the stream, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So, we'll read through it one more time, and you guys can brainstorm some name ideas as we go. Is that cool?
Sure.
All right. Our one shot that we have written in 3 hours.
Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit. We need more Limp Bizkit references, huh? I think we skipped that.
Oh well.
Maybe the Udak is spotted
That's why there's a red
rolling.
cap. The red cap has just a pattern of 3 stripes down its arms.
There you go. All right. All right. So, mid-level one shot. So, you explain that they are part of a crew that is going to an island to look for a hidden artifact, a gem that is the key to awakening and enlightenment. Secretly, the captain has hired the crew so that he can unleash the evil hidden in the volcano. When you jump in, have them start on a ship in the middle of a storm. Have the players roll checks to help survive through the storm, maybe add something specific like a crate that an NPC is desperately trying to hold down before they get knocked off the ship by a tidal wave. The crate has rations to survive on the island, rope, survival gear, and smaller weapons. The captain is about to fall overboard, and if a player attempts to save them and rolls high, they may grab a journal from inside their jacket with drawings of the creatures that exist on the island and loose translations of the native languages. There is also a hand-drawn map of the island with a few landmarks. The party lands near one of the landmarks, and they can see an X in the middle of the island. When the players get through the storm, they will see the large island in front of them with a circle of storm surrounding the entirety of it. At the center of the island is a large volcano. On shore, they will hear a loud roar and feel tremors as a creature walks in the distance. They see a plume of smoke rising above the forest coming from where the tribe of Boggle are living. The first encounter is a red cap and its blink dog. The party will come across them on their way to finding the first landmark on the shore, or on their way to the Boggle village. The X on the map is located where the volcano is, and there is a cave that they need to explore to find a gem infused with the 9th level spell Imprisonment with Slumber. In the journal, there's a loose understanding that the gem will awaken your spirit and help the bearer achieve enlightenment or atonement. However, when they remove the gem from the wall, the only thing that is quote-unquote awakened is the creatures behind the wall that the gem rests in. Once they get into the cave, actually I can change that to, only thing is the fire elemental behind the wall that the gem rests in. Once they get into the cave, the first thing they will encounter is a wall with a gem in it, and the gem is a mimic. After it is destroyed, it will allow them to continue deeper into the cave. The second encounter will be another wall with 4 runes, each representing the 4 elements: water, earth, fire, air. They must press the runes in a specific order, or the walls to the left and right will slowly descend, revealing lava on either side. Heat billows out, and the glow of the magma should urge them to think on their feet. The combination is alphabetical: air, earth, fire, water. Once the correct combination is put in, the wall will descend and reveal the rest of the cave. The third encounter will be a simple rope bridge over a river of lava. The wooden planks and the ropes will look old and rickety and should urge the players to take it slow. On the other side of the bridge, they will see a second gem, much like the mimic, and cave drawings. The cave drawings, shown in order, the Protector is the Udak, a gargantuan gorilla creature with 4 arms. The Boggle creatures all worshipping the Protector. The Boggle is putting the gem in the wall, and the 4th cave drawing is covered in brown mold, which is a trap. If the players remove it, they will see that the final drawing is of the missing gem and the island in flames. If they remove the gem, a fire elemental is released, and its main motivation is getting to the volcano, where it will grow to a size like the Protector and erupt the lava to burn the island. If the players win, cool. If the players lose, then you can describe the elemental scaling the volcano and growing to a gargantuan size, and the final confrontation between it and the Udak. Anything else besides the name? Castaway 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No, I think it's all good. Trying to think of a name.
For some reason, do you remember Firefest? That Ja Rule thing? That was like a failed rich kid.
I think so, yeah, where he was like, oh, I'm gonna have all these people, and then they all like backed out at the very last second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's where my brain's at with this. That the
Firefest.
main antagonist that set us on this was Ja Rule.
Firefest. Ja Rule is he's the captain of the ship.
He's the real. He was the quest giver that told us to go there.
Oh my god, okay.
Firefest. Underlined by Ja Rule. I don't know. I mean, this is enough, I think, to be able to sink your teeth into, flesh it out. You know, you can look at this, give them names, make some random tables for the ship if you wanted to, like Dylan was talking about. You can really go into it and figure it out. And honestly, if you wanted to extend this one shot, this could also be something that, let's say they beat the fire elemental. Well, maybe and they still want to keep playing. There's still more stuff on the island, like you have a journal of other creatures they might encounter, so you can still continue, and maybe they have to survive long enough for the reinforcements to come, like stated in the beginning. I think we removed that, but
I'm really trying to think of a good name.
Fire Island.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple, but I think it works.
It's enough to be scrolling through your notes and read Fire Island and remember exactly what this was about.
Yeah, because I mean, you get there and you see the volcano with like plume of smoke. It's like, oh, okay, Fire Island. And it's just like, oh, this is why. Fire
Island. You heard it here, folks. For now. All right, so I think that's it. unless you guys can think of anything else you'd like to add or dip into quick before we bail, but I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there's not much that we need to do after that.
Yeah, I mean that's enough of a framework to do something with it. So
yeah, no, I'm down to that. All right, so maybe what I'll do is I will. Oh, I just noticed that you can't see the title here. There we go. Maybe I will write this out enough to make it an official one-shot, and I will put it on our Discord channel or Twitter or wherever you may find us, and give that to the people. Maybe they can run Fire Island for their own friends. Maybe we'll run it here. Who knows? If one of you guys want to run it, or I'll run it, or whatever.
There's the dog bark.
There it is. There's the dog bark. Bingo.
There it is.
Bingo.
Anthony, if you're still in chat, please take the dog out.
Anthony, it's your turn to take the dog out.
Yep.
But other than that, I think that's it. Let's go back to this quick. So, let's do a quick round out here. Thank you to our sponsors, the Initiative Order, Band of Badgers. Awesome group of people. Please go check them out. Definitely. I'm gonna link them here. Right now I'm doing it. Dylan's usually saying this stuff, so I am. Oh, I guess not. Badger? Alright, well, I don't remember what it was. It's not gonna work. Let's try the Initiative Order. Alright. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember my keyword for Band of Badgers. Sorry, y'all. I'll figure it out.
Is it B.O.B.?
I don't know. Well, it just did a little while ago. I don't know. Oh, Dylan's still here apparently. Band? Nope, it's not band. Badgers? Oh, there it is. It was Badgers. It just didn't work the first time. Badgers. So
is
the
it
initiative.
Is it case sensitive?
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Whatever. Band of Badgers and the Initiative Order. Please go check them out. They're awesome people. I owe them a lot personally. And also my company, Session Zero. It is a D&D inspired clothing company mixed with my background in hardcore music. I got some new stuff working on fall designs that I'm really excited about and ready to finally unveil some new stuff. But do you guys have anything you want to talk about?
Nope. Make sure to come next week and catch the painting stream.
The paint parties, yeah. Every other Sunday we have a paint party with Eddie here, and
Yeah.
I'm his luscious co-host. Luscious? I'm his.
Yeah,
I'm somewhere, and I try to get him to do things like put things in his belly button and take his shirt off for the stream.
Yeah. Last time I painted my mustache.
Yeah.
Orange. That was fun.
We also have
kooky stuff I do next time.
We also have an up and coming hot tub stream that I very desperately want now.
Oh my god.
So bad, because that may have been one of the funniest things ever. Dane, do you have anything you wanna talk about? You wanna anything you wanna plug?
No, I'm just happy to be here.
You can find Dane on the PlayStation, the PS5, killing them space nerds in D&D, right? Crushing that Gambit. God, I get
Hating my life a little bit, trying to go gilded again in Gambit and Destiny.
You can also find Bucci's playing Gambit or playing Destiny again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find our friend here, Bucci, out there in Destiny, and you can find me on social media, Ryan X Warren. You can find me on Session Zero Clothing on Instagram or S0 Clothing on Twitter, and come hang out. Let's do some fun stuff. Next week is painting. 2 weeks is back to Mid-Level Crisis, Dungeons and Dragons, where hopefully we finally get to kill somebody with brand new weapons and murder them and leave them in the street.
Make them real dead.
Yeah, level up. We get to finally level up, I think.
Stomp them down.
Just gotta kill enough boars in the woods and then we'll level up.
Or we'll kill Dylan and we'll just level 20.
Hell yeah.
But
That's really
anyways,
how we do it.
that is enough talking and bullshit. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you, Booch, for all your creative insight. Really appreciated that. Thank you again. Is it Sunday yet? That doesn't work. All right. Well, adios. Sayonara. See you later. Bye,
Bye.
bye nerds.